Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Good. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. Y'all know what time it is. Ladies, gentlemen, people of Earth and of other worlds, of parts unknown, some people might say. It is time for the House Divided podcast. Hello, we are here, episode 5 here of season 5. We have a show. That's about it. We got a show. Hi, guys. Oh, no. Oh, God, did. There we go. Hi, guys. I'm here on your screen. Jordan's in Michigan Stadium with the sign saying Graham Mertz wears jorts, which he does.
Yeah. My best buddy Tom Brady next to me.
Yeah, and some other guy behind him.
There's a few people there.
And a baby over behind Tom Brady's shoulder.
You know, what's funny is that I didn't even notice that there was another baby. At least it's not a crying baby this time like there was at Ford Field.
Right. I mean, wouldn't you cry if you were a baby watching the Lions? Wouldn't you cry if you were just a person watching the Lions?
Yeah, probably. That's it's bad. It's bad time.
Yes, it is. The Lions' futility and inability to stop the Ravens won me some money, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Oh, God.
Let's get into the show today. We are going to be starting with Stupid People Say Stupid Things, as always. I only have 2, so how about I lead us off?
All right, sounds good.
If that works.
That works.
Bingo, bango. I got to find my phone. So we will start with the one from Saturday night. Both of mine do come from Twitter. This one is by a person on the Twitter. Their handle is Hannah_Bobby.
Uh-oh.
This tweet was in reference to the Ohio State Akron game. She tweets, "I'm sorry. Why are they playing Akron though? Why are they playing a cupcake?" Well, Hannah, there's this thing called non-conference.
It's usually how that works.
Alabama played Southern Mississippi. Some other non-conference games that happened. There wasn't a lot of non-conference games that happened. Never mind. Oh, here we go. Penn State and Villanova. There we go. I found one.
Yeah.
I found one.
Yeah. I always forget that Villanova has a football team.
It took me a second to find another non-conference top 25 game from last week. But there you go.
Alas, there is one.
Yeah. And moving on to my last one. This comes from Twitter user Fat_Carl.
I'm expecting great things with a username like that.
Oh, there's not great. This tweet was in reference to Monday Night Manning. For those of you who have not heard, Monday Night Manning will not be on the air for the next 3 weeks for weeks 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
Which is very unfortunate because the Monday night games in weeks 4, 5, 6 are going to be ass.
And doubly ass because if you want to watch them at all, you have to deal with Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and Louis Riddick. Lisa Salters is all right.
Yeah.
But the rest of the crew is not good.
Not good. So this individual, Carl here, was tweeting a reply to the Pat McAfee show. Pat is a big fan of Monday Night Manning.
A guest, in fact.
And he was a guest, too. Yes, in week 2. Fat Carl tweeted, "Good. They're ruining Monday Night Football. Get these clowns off of my screen. For some of you, for people keeping track, I had a very similar tweet in Stupid People Say Stupid Things last week.
I don't understand. So, week 1, I was skeptical about it. Because I didn't know. I thought Peyton would be entertaining, but Eli not so much.
Eli's not bad, actually, surprisingly.
He's gotten better every week.
Yes.
That's for sure. I feel like he's gotten more comfortable in it, and I've enjoyed the hell out of it. I didn't watch at all week 2 because the Lions were on Monday Night Football, so I didn't want to get like distracted by what was going on with the Mannings and not focus on the game. Like, I think we said this last week. Being a neutral like viewer and all that, if one of your teams is playing in it, I feel like it's not a great idea or not a great thing to watch. But if you don't have a dog in the fight, hey, or if you put money on the game or something, just watch the Mannings. It's so much better.
I'd honestly, even if I had money on one of the Monday night games, which I probably never will, because most of them just aren't good enough. Like, there's no, like, they're so bad. Like, most of the Monday night games we have this year are so bad that I don't want to put money on them because it's literally just bad football. And when you have two teams that are just playing bad football, it's just a crapshoot.
I put a little bit on it this week just because I was confident in Dallas.
Fair. So going back to my, like, first off, because of people like Carl and the guy who I had brought up last week, this is why we can't have nice things in the world of sports. It's why any sports commentary crew for the most part is just always just generic, bland, terrible ass.
Yeah.
It's why it's just always like everything in the world. It's why ESPN is the way it is. They want safe. They just want bleh, nothing good. They don't want good. They don't want anything.
Yeah, Monday Night Manning has been the opposite of safe.
Yeah, it's been great. We'll even talk about that here in the news in a minute.
Right?
It's been great. It's been phenomenal. And
yeah, I love it.
People like Carl here who don't know how to just pick up the TV remote. Here, I know this is not a TV remote, but this is what you gotta do. Pick up your remote off your table. Click. Set it down. Oh, hey, I'm watching the regular telecast with Steve Levy and Brian Greasy and Bums.
And something else to note is that the entire time on the Manning cast, it says main telecast available on ESPN on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's that right there. Like, this will probably be the last one I have in reference to the Manning to Monday Night Manning, just because every week that Monday Night Manning is gonna be a thing, there's gonna be something stupid. There's gonna be some dude who just doesn't like nice things. It's why people like Colin Cowherd have a job. Colin Cowherd is here on this graphic because he's dumb, but no one wants to change from him.
Nope.
So those are my two Stupid People Say Stupid Things. Both of those people are
loser.
Zuh.
I'm punting it over to you, and I have my booze ready.
I have a lot here today.
Yes, you do.
And so I said, I told you that we're going to speed run these things to not have this segment take a half hour. So the first one happens to be Jalen Hurts. And this is after his performance from Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys, where he was awful. I mean, he was putrid. One of the worst quarterback performances.
Just not as bad as Justin Fields, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was bad.
He says after his awful performance, you a deuce You don't sit there and look at it. You flush it and move on. We gon' flush it and move on. Oh boy.
Hi,
Oh,
Horace.
Jalen Hurts. Right? I just feel like there's so many other ways to describe you playing badly than comparing yourself to a turd. But, you know, that's just me. We move on.
I'm gonna say
this is
one thing.
actually- Yes.
Jalen Hurts' performance was shit. So he's on to something.
He might just be.
And it wasn't like that. I mean, what he's trying to get at isn't stupid. It's just the way
No,
he said it
it's-
was stupid.
The wording and the comparison was very bizarre. All right, we move on. There was this other one, and this wasn't even a post that I had clicked on. I was on Facebook, and I just started scrolling down.
Oh, Facebook.
I scrolled past this suggested post from this group that I'm not even in, and it wasn't even like an Ohio State, Michigan group. It was just a sports group in general. And somebody says Michigan might have a shot at beating Ohio State this year. Debatable. We'll get there when we get there. That's not the stupid part. We scroll down to Timmy. Michigan might lose to. Any guesses on who he thinks Michigan's gonna lose to?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he said Rutgers.
No, this is after the Rutgers game.
Wisconsin.
Actually, I don't. 6 days ago, I screenshotted this yesterday. I don't believe it is.
Well, either Rutgers. I'm gonna say either Rutgers or Wisconsin.
Michigan might lose to Nebraska. Let's not even start a Michigan might beat Ohio State thing. Good Lord above. Fittingly, somebody just replies to him, no.
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Timmy, you sir are a
loser.
Yeah.
Continue. Fucking Timmy.
This was-
God damn it.
This was a late addition into stupid people saying stupid things. Scrolling through Instagram right before the show starts, and I scroll past this post that, of course, is going to get everyone up in arms. It was the mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, coming out and urging Nets guard, Jesus, Kyrie Irving to get vaccinated before the season starts. It says the team needs him, the fans want him, everything like that. Not the stupid thing. So, in the comments, we have Cole, who says, God, ESPN as an organization took a bad turn. Which, say what you will, might be true, might not be true, not the point. The point
We
is...
aren't going to talk about that part.
The point is, this post was made by Sports Illustrated.
I do want to point out this was just put into chat. Yes, the Big Ten wanted Nebraska instead of West Virginia or anybody else. Yeah. But
yeah, I don't know why. So yes, so I tell this man, that hey, maybe he got it wrong, maybe he was just goofed up. I said, this is the Sports Illustrated page. He says, all run under the same umbrella. Except they're not. Not owned even remotely by the same people. Sports Illustrated and ESPN have nothing in common except they both cover sports.
this little shooter I had here was not big enough for this segment.
No, it really wasn't. We move on. This is a part of what we're going to get into with the Lions game earlier today. There was the missed false start call that allowed the Lions to lose that game. That Austin's very happy about.
I made a decent chunk of change off of that.
And we have people debating on Twitter whether or not it should have been a false start. So,
But it was a delay of game. It was a
it's
miss.
not false start. Yeah, not false
I was about to
start.
say, hold up. Hold.
Actually, there was. If you watch the replay, there was a false start as well.
Oh, I would say I was more focused on the delay of game that was missed by about 4 seconds. But
Yeah. So there was a false start about guy jumped probably half a second too early. I think the right guard, but regardless, they missed them both. So we have the real Mud Dog who says just because the clock says 0 doesn't mean there's no time.
Huh?
0 immediately means 0.9 seconds and on down, which I don't believe is the case, because if that was the case, then they'd put decimals on it.
Yeah, 0 means 0.
So somebody replied to the guy, that makes 0 sense. The time in between 1 and 0 is the 0.9 and down. Good God above.
First off, when did football automatically start doing what the NBA does with their clock of having decimals? When did that start happening? Oh wait, it hasn't. Move on.
This was on the Michigan Football Post. I would assume after the Rutgers game. And we have a double dipper here. First, we have Shawnee with, and this is just the creative or uncreative ways, the really crappy ways people.
Son of a bitch.
What did you do?
I forgot to hit start recording, so oh well.
Well, guess you gotta download the the VOD later.
Yeah, I hit start recording, but yeah, oops.
Anyway, so this is about the awful names that apparently Michigan fans have started to give Jim Harbaugh. So we have Shawnee here who says, if Harb Garbage says we aren't falling in love with our stuff one more time, I'm going to puke. Which that quote is about Jim has. That's Jim's way of saying that he's not afraid to change things up if the running game just stops working.
Like it did against Rutgers?
Like it did against Rutgers, but Cade McNamara was still crap. Anyway, yes, Harb Garbage. Then we move down to John. Typical Jim Hardbutt team. 6-6, maybe. Good Lord above. And I believe... No, it's not! I forgot, there's one more!
All I'm going to say about that is we'll talk about Jim Harbaugh here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Because I want to bring Jim Harbaugh up. But...
So,
yep.
The last stupid person saying a stupid thing is about Tyler Alexander yesterday in the Tigers-Twins game. The umpire called time in the middle of his windup, and Tyler threw the ball into the stands behind home plate, which is actually pretty much, I mean, what you're supposed to do. You don't want to rapidly decelerate your arm and potentially hurt yourself. So
I get that.
I don't know if somebody didn't understand what was going on, but Earl from Facebook says, ball one, I guess. He's going to get a talking to from the pitching coach.
God damn it, Earl.
The ump called time, you plug.
God damn it, Earl, you fucking pylon.
God. Pylons everywhere, losers everywhere. Hit the damn button.
Loser.
Jesus. And I believe that does it for stupid people saying stupid things.
Thank God, because eventually this segment's going to start taking seconds off of my life, minutes off of my life. Because
I think it already has.
Because of how many just stupid people that we find.
And we don't even find the trolls. We find the genuinely stupid people.
Let's move on to the news.
Let's move on. I like news.
You take the first one. News? I don't hate news. You take the first one and read it word for word is what I wrote.
Oh, man. Okay.
Because I really want the second one.
The NBA continues to suck. finds Warriors owner
Loser.
Guy McGuyface, and in parentheses, Austin couldn't be bothered to look up his name because NBA, under anti-tampering rules, forget this, saying Ben Simmons doesn't fit what we're doing here. He makes a lot of money, and can he finish games? I don't know. And the NBA considered it damaging to Ben Simmons' trade value. That is exactly what was written down.
Yes, because I do not know the Warriors, the name of the Warriors owner, and because it's the NBA, and Jordan also told me that while reading that news headline word for word with the guy's name in it, Jordan told me, and then it just went one ear, right out the other because NBA. Reading Twitch chat. This is a stupid one from West Virginia Twitter. Quarterback name is not the problem. He's an NFL cat. I have not watched a West Virginia game. They haven't been great, so yeah, that probably is not a smart thing to go on about.
I haven't watched a single second of West Virginia.
No, we don't actually really get West Virginia games here in Michigan. The game on Saturday night would have been the first one in like 2 years, but I didn't watch it because Ohio State played in that same time slot. I will fully admit that.
But yes, go ahead with the next bit of news. I think that pretty much sums it up. Guy McGuyface. Actual name. Oh, I had it up and I got rid of it. Never mind. Guy McGuyface, he remains.
Yep. All I'm going to say, the only thing damaging Ben Simmons' trade value is Ben Simmons.
The fact that he's a basketball player that can't shoot.
Yeah.
In 2021, when shooting's more important than ever.
And he's a pylon.
And he's toxic. Yeah.
Yeah. All of the above. Moving on, the next part of the news, USA, the United States Ryder Cup team, so we're moving into the world of golf here, beats Team Europe for the third time in 14 years with a score of 19-9. This is record-setting, actually, also, because...
Whoa. Ow.
Yeah. Record-setting. This is the largest win in Ryder Cup history. Moving on, I will take this piece of news too. Lewis Hamilton wins the Russian Grand Prix, making it his 100th win, his 100th career win. Max Verstappen finished second, and I think it was Carlos Sainz that finished third.
It was indeed.
Carlos Sainz finished third. Lewis Hamilton has a 2-point lead in the Drivers' Championship standings.
He does. 100 goddamn wins for Lewis Hamilton. Jesus Christ.
It's...
Just retire. Do everybody a favor.
No matter what you say about whether or not you like Lewis Hamilton, 100 is still impressive no matter what car he's driving in. And not all of them were in Mercedes cars.
No, yeah, people do forget that, but it was still McLaren, Mercedes, and everything.
Yeah,
it's not the same thing at all.
Not the same McLaren. No.
No. Yeah, no. Lewis Hamilton's great. I don't personally like him, but I mean, he won more races than anybody ever. He's gonna win the championship than anybody ever.
Yeah, I agree with everything. It's impressive. Now just go somewhere else, Lewis. Just retire. Just call it.
Like you've done everything you can do in Formula One. Like if he has the most wins, most championships, he's already got the most poles. Like just go. I don't know. Go race IndyCar. Go try and win the 500 or something.
Yeah.
I don't want him in NASCAR. The styles of racing are just too different, and it would not be a good time.
Yeah.
Moving on to NASCAR, funnily enough, Denny Hamlin winning the opener of the round of 12 in the NASCAR playoffs at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let me pull up the rest of the top 5. Chase Elliott finishes about a half second back, and then a big old gap to everybody else. Kyle Busch, 12.5 seconds back. Martin Truex Jr., 13, almost 14 seconds back. And Ryan Blaney, 14.5 back. Now, let me pull up the standings real quick so we can take a look at who's potentially going to get bumped out of the NASCAR playoffs with 2 races to go in the round of 12. Let's see here. In 12th, 25 points out, Christopher Bell had that early season win at the Daytona Road Course and then hasn't done anything since. Alex Bowman in the 48 car, 13 points back. Kevin Harvick, Teehee. I'm a Chase Elliott fan, so I'm not really all that happy with Kevin Harvick at this particular moment. 7 points out of the playoffs. And William Byron, another Hendrick car, 4 points out. Going to be interesting. Now, where do we go next? We've Talladega this weekend, and then the Charlotte Roval of all dastardly things the week after that.
Wait, is the Roval the last race?
In the round, yes.
Oh, okay. Thank God. I mean, and I'm still probably not going to watch it because I don't really watch NASCAR that much, but thank God, because that track's terrible.
Oh, God, the Roval sucks.
I also forgot this was actually happening this past weekend, so yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Did you ever? You the only road races that you would have watched, I don't know if you did, like Road America,
Did.
Circuit of the Americas.
Don't think I did because I was working that, or no, I was on the golf course that day.
I can't remember if they went to Mid-Ohio or not.
Don't think so, but I could be wrong. I'm still not gonna watch the Charlotte Roval because I don't think that's a good track.
No, the Roval sucks.
Moving on, Josh Gordon.
Oh boy.
Gets reinstated to the NFL. He's going to be signing with the Kansas City Chiefs, or he already has. All I got for Josh Gordon, I've already hit the button once. Josh?
Stay off the weed.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all I got for that. Like, I hope he can stay off the weed and be able to have a semblance of a career for the remainder of whatever, however long it's going to be.
Man, one of these times, I just want Josh Gordon to stick around in the NFL and not get suspended like 6 games into his reinstatement. Come on, Josh. I'm rooting for you. I like you. Let's go.
But while we're still on this, Josh Gordon is 30 years old.
It feels like he's been around for ages.
He has. He is 30 years old. He, for all intents and purposes, though, it feels like he's been around for ages because he's in the news every week, every season,
single year.
He's
for the wrong reason.
But for all intents and purposes, he's only been in the league like 5 years. Maybe not even that. I don't know if he's
not even.
He's probably
he had the breakout year with the Browns.
Yep.
That's when everything started for him, and he was getting suspended every season.
League.
And then, he was out of the league for a few years.
Essentially, yeah, because he couldn't stay off the weed.
And other things.
Yeah.
And people are very confused about the league's policy on weed this year because there were changes to it. In years past, NFL players couldn't smoke weed whatsoever. If you tested positive at any time in the year, it was bad news for you. And now you only get tested during the season. So if you're an NFL player and you want to smoke weed in the off season, you're free to do so if it's legal where you're at.
Yeah, if it's legal in the place you are currently residing in.
Right. And but if you test positive in the season, they'll no longer suspend you, but they will fine you.
Right.
Thank God.
And
so hopefully, hey, he can stay off the weed for a little bit.
Or just stay in the fucking league.
Yes, just please, Josh Gordon. I want so badly for you to just hang around for a little bit.
Moving on, you want to take this one or you want me to?
Oh, man. week after, as we had just talked about the Manning cast in Stupid People Saying Stupid Things, or it was brought up anyway. A week after Peyton Manning dropped an F-bomb on TV, this week, Eli Manning, when talking about his playing days and in reference to a 9-year-old Philly fan giving him the double birds, he, kind of forgot he was on live TV for a second, but then he was like, you guys could blur that out. They couldn't. Eli Manning flipped off the entire country. I love the Manning cast.
Oh, I love
Eli
it.
Manning is the greatest thing to ever happen to Monday Night Football.
I love it. I love how coming back from break, Chris Long, because Chris Long was the guest at the time too, former Philadelphia Eagle Chris Long,
Yes.
Philadelphia Eagle defensive end. I love Chris Long. As a defensive player, I love Chris Long. But I digress. Chris Long and Peyton were like, we kind of goaded you into that, so we'll take the blame in the event something happens.
And then his apology, which I would assume was only a thing because if you don't, the FCC is going to be mad at you. Even more mad than they already are. He says, "All right. Well, I guess I gave the double bird on live TV. I guess that's frowned upon. Apologize if I offended anybody. I was just trying to demonstrate what a 9-year-old did to me." So.
Hilarious.
I love Eli. Some words I never thought I'd say.
He's so awkward and goofy, but you put him on something like this.
I was pretty indifferent to Eli Manning during his playing career, but especially because he was Tom Brady's kryptonite, and it's fucking. I love Eli Manning. He's so socially awkward. It's great.
It's great. You put him in a scenario like this because he's just so goofy and awkward that he thrives. I love it. I love the Manning cast. It's gonna be a rough 3 weeks without him. I probably won't watch a Monday Night Football game because I
might. It's football. It's bad football most of the time, but it's football.
I probably just won't. And the final piece of news: Manny Pacquiao has announced his retirement from boxing after a 25-year career, and he was a champion in 8 different divisions, if I remember correctly.
It sounds about right. I don't keep up with boxing as much as I probably should.
I don't either, but
yeah, very, very impressive, legendary career for Manny Pacquiao.
And that, I don't have much else to add to it, so that does it for the news. Let's move on to the college football recap from week 4. It was a football week. So, I just closed the notes. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Starting off with number 1, Alabama. They played Southern Mississippi. Alabama won 63-14. This game was not close. Speaking of game...
A lot to not nearly enough.
Speaking of games that were not close, Georgia played Vanderbilt. Georgia won by a metric fuck ton to Vanderbilt's literal 0. Meaning Georgia won 62-0 if you did not know the numbers. Moving on.
Metric fuck ton is exactly 62.
Yep. Vanderbilt still is ass. Moving on, Oregon played Arizona. Number 3, Oregon played Arizona. Oregon needed till the fourth quarter, needed a 20-point fourth quarter or 17-point fourth quarter, needed a big fourth quarter to make this game look uglier than it was. Oregon won 41-19. Oregon's a weird team. That's all I got on that. Not a lot to say. I mean, they've had 2 close wins, and then they played fucking Division II team last week or in week 3, and we're only up 10-7 at halftime, and then won by 30, or won by 40, and then they played Arizona played them tough, and Oregon needed a large fourth quarter to make that game ugly. Speaking of games that were weird, Oklahoma, number 4 Oklahoma beat the West Virginia Mountaineers 16-13. I didn't really watch this game. Oklahoma did not have a lead at all. Oklahoma fans are calling for Spencer Rattler's head.
Oh God, were they?
Yeah. Oh my God, I have never.
You know it's bad when you're supposedly a Heisman frontrunner and your home crowd is chanting for your backup to be put in the game over you.
He played terrible. I mean, we're not going to talk much about this game because like I said, I didn't watch it. I don't really have a lot of in-depth insight. But some stats.
Big 12 nonsense.
Some stats. Spencer Rattler went 26 for 36, 256. One touchdown, one interception. It was after the interception that they wanted him benched. The running game for both West Virginia's quarterback went 20 for 29, 160, one interception. Not good. This game was not really great.
No.
Oklahoma literally did not have a lead. Had the lead for 0 seconds. The game-winning field goal went through the uprights with triple zeros on the clock. The ball was in the air with triple zeros on the clock. Meaning Oklahoma never had a lead. Had an official game lead. Rushing game for both teams was ass. West Virginia's leading rusher had 56 yards. Oklahoma's had 38. Yeah, wasn't great.
No.
Moving on.
But hey, West Virginia covered.
Yeah. He just to piggyback that West Virginia quarterback was not very great. Moving on, Iowa played Colorado State. Iowa won 24-14. There was a lot of weird games this week. Not really any. I mean, there were a couple upsets which we'll talk about, but just odd. Continuing with the odd slate of games and odd scores, Penn State, number 6 Penn State beat Villanova 38-17. This game was closer than what it looked for a while.
Yes. Oddly enough, yes.
Moving on.
I mean, anything but the top two teams so far. That's pretty much been the theme.
Yeah, like I said, Oregon needed a big fourth quarter to win big, and then other than that, it was just everything's been kind of weird. Number 7 Texas A&M scored 10 points against number 16 Arkansas, who scored 20. Wow. I didn't see this one coming.
I believe 2 weeks ago we were shitting on Arkansas so bad. Especially after the Texas game when Arkansas beat Texas, and we're like, yeah, Texas, you want a part of the SEC, and you're losing to the worst SEC team. Arkansas is not the worst SEC team, apparently.
No,
I'd actually be okay.
Yeah, I don't have a lot else to say to this game because this wasn't even televised here in Michigan.
Nope.
Oddly enough, Texas A&M's just. I thought they had a good chance to win the West. I figured if anybody in the SEC West was going to beat Bama, it was going to be Texas A&M, and yeah.
That's a pretty good noise for it.
Number 8 Cincinnati had a bye. Clemson, the vaunted Clemson Tigers, suck donkey dick. Eat it, Dabo Sweeney. Fuck you. Clemson loses 21-27 to North Carolina State in double overtime. This just continues the trend of death nails for the ACC that have been happening repeatedly. The ACC.
I bet Notre Dame is really sad that they're not in the ACC again this year because I think they probably win the damn thing.
Walk away with it. The ACC is terrible. We'll keep that. We'll keep reiterating that here as we go through the recap. Number 10, Ohio State played some action against Akron. Ohio State won 59-7. This Ohio State team looked good. Really, the only odd thing that happened in this game was Kayvon Pope throwing a temper tantrum, tossing his gloves into the stands, and then eventually going on Twitter tweeting "fuck Ohio State," deleting it, and then still got dismissed from the team on Sunday.
I heard about that, and I sent Austin a message. I'm like, everything okay?
And nobody really knew what was going on.
Like, why was he so upset?
So here's a little bit on Kayvon Pope. I'll talk about the game itself here in a couple minutes. Here's a little bit about Kayvon Pope. He is a fifth-year senior.
Oh God.
Now this is his fifth year. Last year would have been his senior. COVID last year would have been his senior year. However, COVID year didn't count in terms of eligibility, so he's a fifth-year senior. He, in those 5 years, has 14 tackles, 1 sack, and I believe 1 interception. So
Not grand stats.
no, he was a, depending on where you looked, he was either one of the worst 5-star recruits that you could find, or one of the best 4-star recruits, depending on what recruiting site you looked at. He was either listed as one of the top 4 stars or one of the bottom 5 stars. Again, depending on where you looked at, all the recruiting sites are slightly different at times. Still a good linebacker, or in high school was a good linebacker, and something happened at Ohio State where it just didn't pan out, whether it was coaching or whatever. Didn't pan out. The occurrences that led it up to this, he wanted to go out on a third down against in its second quarter against Akron, mid-second quarter against Akron. Ohio State was already starting to get up big. It was starting to look ugly for Akron. He got called off, or he got waved off the field by Ohio State defensive captain Trehada Mitchell, I believe it was, who ushered him or waved him back off. And then he got into a spat with Al Washington, the linebackers coach. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the whole wording of this was, you got to do what the coaches want you to do. You can't just decide when you can go play.
That should be a fairly universally agreed upon thing, but...
And then he just threw a tantrum, flung his gloves into the stands, he tried to rip his jersey off and throw that into the stands too, but he couldn't. It's just, yeah, odd. That was really the only oddity. The only other disappointment for this was, coming from me, was I didn't get to see Quinn Ewers play.
The $1.4 million man.
Yes, Kayvon Pope decided he himself decided he was gonna play on third down, not anyone saying, "Hey, you go out and play." It was just, "Oh, I'm going out on my terms." No, and it didn't work. Yeah, my biggest disappointment was we didn't get to see Quinn Ewers. Ohio State covered. They won by 52. They covered. Akron's bad. The other big one, well, there's 2 big ones, both on Ohio State, and then one just as a personal thing. Ryan Day is still quintupling down on C.J. Stroud being the guy, and just the way he talked about both Kyle McCord and it's the other one. The other one. Fuck. I gotta look.
The guy who didn't play a whole lot.
Played in the late second half. Jack Miller. There we go. Both of them are, by the way, true freshmen. Just the way Ryan Day talked about how both of them played. Oh, they could have played better. They missed reads. CJ Stroud's still the guy. And then his just outright refusal to play Quinn Ewers in a complete fucking blowout. It's like, it's fucking mind-boggling because, and say what you want, Akron's not good. They're not. Realistically, no matter who Ohio State played at quarterback, this should have been the outcome. But you're just going to keep just double, triple, quadrupling down on CJ Stroud, and just completely dismiss what all the other quarterbacks did, or what the other 2 quarterbacks did. And also, fun fact, I'm sure other teams do this. Ohio State does a thing where they have champions of the week. Every week, CJ Stroud, actually no, 2 of the 3 games CJ Stroud played, he was a champion of the week, one of the team's champions of the week. Neither quarterback was a champion of the week this week. Both of
boy.
Kyle McCord played really good. Other than that very first drive, Kyle McCord played really good for a true freshman who hasn't thrown a pass this year. They haven't really let him throw passes. And and Jordan asked me if there was going to be a quarterback controversy at Ohio State, and Ryan Day's not going to let it because he doesn't want to look at anybody else. He doesn't want to be like, they played good, so let's see what they could like.
Up until this week, nobody had thrown a pass other than C.J. Stroud, correct?
Correct.
He's full on the Stroud train there.
I don't get it. Ohio State's running game looked good. Ohio State's defense looked great, finally. Other than that first drive. That first drive was a little awkward because there was a couple blown coverages that eventually led to Akron's lone touchdown. And then my own personal issue with something Akron did came in the final seconds of the game. And I'm saying that I have an issue with this because I am a former player. I'm going to preface this with leading up to the final drive, Akron had given up 7 sacks. So their quarterbacks were getting shelled. The very final drive, Akron's starting quarterback DJ Irons wasn't even in because a hit he took on 4th down in the previous drive. And Akron's second to last drive, they yanked him after that hit because he got flattened. He was parallel to the ground before he even hit the ground.
Yep.
Flattened. Akron, he was getting rocked repeatedly. So, Akron goes with a little tempo in that final drive. You could say, oh, well, a couple of Ohio State's freshmen were still hitting our guys hard. Whatever. You want to fucking say that? Go ahead and say that. They're fucking freshmen. They're going to do that. We get to the final 8 seconds. Akron snaps the ball. The backup quarterback takes a shot, gets sacked for a loss of 8 yards, and he got absolutely flattened. He got hit by 4 different guys because Akron's offensive line just forgot to block for him, essentially. Akron's coach calls a timeout with 2 seconds remaining. Down by 52. The final play was their quarterback taking another sack. So your quarterback just took an extra hit just because you wanted to call a timeout to work on some things, which was the reasoning he gave in postgame is, well, we took that timeout because we want to try and work on some things and build some confidence.
That didn't work.
There is no confidence. Your players are not going to build any form of confidence. Oh, hey, instead of losing by 52, we lost by 45.
Unless they, for whatever reason, take pride in covering.
Players don't care about that.
No. Maybe one player on the entire team.
Yeah, players don't care about that. Especially
because they can't bet.
Yeah. You exposed your quarterback to taking another shot, so he probably did not gain any favor from, he definitely didn't gain any favor from anyone on that defense. Because I'm sure everybody on that defense was like, let's just get the fuck out of here. It's a 200-mile ride back to Akron. Let's just hit the showers, get in the fucking bus, and go the fuck home. And then you're not winning any extra favor in your fucking quarterback room because you're just letting your quarterbacks take another fucking hit. You're like, I don't know where. As a former player, I just hate it because that kind of just garbage time stupidity is how people get hurt. Is how players get unnecessary injuries.
Yeah, I did not like the timeout. Obviously, I feel like that's pretty.
I figured you would have liked it because you wanted Akron to cover.
I did. I didn't have any money on the game though, so I really didn't care too much. Yeah, the timeout is stupid. for so many reasons. Like you said, people can get hurt, and at the end of the day, I mean, it's not doing anything. Like, you're trying to build some confidence. What, against the softest defense Ohio State's played all day?
Yeah, against freshmen who probably won't play another snap for the most part this year.
Right. And now,
with a chunk, like, Akron had a chunk of their starter, other than their quarterback. I think they were at all starters still.
Probably.
Which, that's not going to win you any favors with the rest of your starters either.
No.
Like, it's
and,
just.
I know you had said, because we had talked about this right after the game ended. I was trying to figure out why the timeout, and the only way that I'm thinking of it is that they see these freshmen for Ohio State coming out and laying down these big hits, and I don't have a problem with them still playing. That's fine. They're not going to see the field for the rest of the year potentially.
Yeah, and they're freshmen. They're gonna do that. They don't fucking.
Right.
Freshmen. They're still 18 years old. They don't really know the difference between, oh, this is garbage time, let's just wrap up and get out of here so no one gets hurt, and still playing hard.
Yeah, the only thing that bothered me that Ohio State did in that final sequence was the one dude that was flexing over the Akron guy.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I will agree. I did not like that.
52.
Yeah, that one I didn't like.
You're supposed to beat them.
Yeah.
Why?
They were a 50-point favorite, and, well, they beat them by 52.
Yeah,
that I didn't like. I will agree with.
The timeout, and did he get penalized for that?
No. The only penalty was his backup quarterback took another fucking hit. So Akron ended up, because of how they played that final drive, Akron ended up giving 9 sacks up.
Yeah, I don't know. Just a messy end of to the game, but
stupid and unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the Ohio State players still going out there and making big hits and making big plays. That's fine to me.
Yeah,
because I other than taking the timeout is stupid, but I have no issue with people playing till zeros are on the clock.
And
you're literally just delaying the inevitable.
To
score meaningless points. It's so dumb.
What you had said about the Ohio State corner flexing over that Akron receiver, there was a taunting penalty for that. So.
Oh, that's what I was asking.
Oh, there was.
Penalty for that.
There was a 15-yard taunting penalty for that. So it's you got your retribution for that. And all I'm going to say is, if that came at any other point in the game, that flag wouldn't have been thrown. You see that happen
Probably not, no.
You see that happen all the fucking time in college football. That flag was so soft, but it was with 30 fucking seconds left, 40 seconds left. And just to make things worse, Akron had 3 timeouts still. They didn't use a timeout until until there was 2 seconds left for that last play. They took 2 delay of games on the second to last drive. So 10 yards of penalties just off of bad clock management, and they didn't want to use a timeout.
How would you have felt if they had called the timeout and then kicked the field goal?
That guy would have needed to be fired. That's the only.
They would have covered.
I mean, about the only thing it would have done is it would have hurt my picks for this week, for last week, because I picked Ohio State to cover.
Yeah, 49.5 points was too much. I had to take the points.
Yeah, I get it. So, but it was stupid.
Akron was the bigger dumb in that whole final sequence.
Yeah.
Only a slight bit of Ohio State dumb.
Yeah. Coming from freshmen. Again, moving on though to Florida, Tennessee. Go Gators. My alma mater beat Rocky Top. They went home crying. Rocky Top. Tennessee went back to Knoxville crying. Haha, fuck you guys. Florida won.
I really hate Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you grow up in Florida, Tennessee and Georgia.
Man, I like the song though.
Gators won 38-13. Not much to say here.
No.
Moving on, number 12 Notre Dame won 41-13 against Wisconsin. Graham Mertz, where's Jorts?
Yeah, Wisconsin looks very beatable right now. They don't look very good. I thought Notre Dame was going to win. I didn't think it was going to be like this. Notre Dame
Needed.
laid the smackdown on them.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
I mean, it's one of those games again where it kind of got out of hand late.
Notre Dame going into the fourth quarter, I believe there was 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter when Notre Dame finally took a lead.
Yeah.
They were going into the fourth quarter. They were down 10-13. Graham Mertz throws an interception, and then Notre Dame scores 31 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Not much else to say other than that. Wisconsin's ass. Notre Dame isn't great. They've capitalized on every game they've won is because of other teams. The teams they've played, their futility.
Yeah. One thing I will say about Notre Dame, because as we talked about last week, this game was at Soldier Field. And this game was initially scheduled for last season, and it was supposed to be in Wisconsin at Lambeau. Notre Dame and their uniforms were Packers inspired. They had like the sleeve stripes like the Packers.
Yes.
They put the interlocking ND on the sleeves. They had striped pants, like they had an actual stripe on their pants. That's one of the best uniforms I've ever seen Notre Dame wear, and I wish they'd keep it around.
That's a low bar because Notre Dame's unis are actually rather bland.
Right. I mean,
they are. I get it. That's the look they want. They were just bland. They're otherwise
right.
bland.
You can modernize tradition, just like Michigan. The Mad Helmets, a little bit of an updated number 5. You can do that. It's okay. But then at the end of the day, Notre Dame's outfitted by Under Armour. So what are you gonna do?
I say they're either gonna have something that looks decent like what Maryland has, or they're gonna have something that looks ugly like what Maryland has also.
Or like what Wisconsin had. What was the font they used for those jersey numbers?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That wasn't good either.
Those are putrid, but other than uniforms, there's not much else to say.
Yeah, Notre Dame won big because Wisconsin's not good.
No.
I mean, number 13 Ole Miss had a bye. Number 14 Iowa State lost to Baylor 29-31. Iowa State, well,
all the hype behind Iowa State, and they have just tanked it.
The Big 12's playoff hopes rest on Oklahoma, it seems.
Yeah, and they got a test this weekend. I know Kansas State doesn't seem like a test, but they beat them the last 2 times they played. So.
Yep. Number 15 BYU beat South Florida 34-27. Not much to say here. BYU's winning.
The classic BYU team coming out of nowhere and being decent.
Yep. Number 17 Coastal Carolina beat UMass 53-3. UMass sucks. That's it.
Forgot that UMass existed.
Yeah, because they're just never really noticeable. Excuse me. Number 19 Michigan beats stupid Rutgers 20-13. I don't have a lot to say about this because after Michigan had a 10-0 lead, I walked away.
Yeah, up until halftime is really when the tables turned on this game. Michigan was rolling away with it. It looked like it was going to be an easy cover, easy victory. That was not the case. Second half offense was awful. Cade McNamara was awful. I really don't think Cade McNamara gets to the end of this season and is still the starter. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to sneak in there and get that job soon. And I hope it's before we take an L, because right now you're in a spot, if you're Michigan, that you can, you're in the conversation. Now, the bottom of the conversation, there's about 3 or 4 teams probably ahead of you, but you're in that conversation of potentially having a shot at winning the Big Ten, at least at with what we've seen so far. You take the L now that all the non-conference games are gone, all the meaningless games are gone. It's all Big Ten teams from here on out for Michigan. And Cade McNamara has not looked good. And now I know J.J. McCarthy's young, and he's probably got some growing to do, as like both physically and as a player. But I don't think he can be any worse than Cade McNamara. I mean, and now we know like that they just do not trust Cade McNamara to throw the football when we were just running the ball nonstop in the first few weeks. And it was one of those things where you had to wait and see what was going to happen. Were they just not passing the ball because they didn't have to, or were they not passing the ball because the passing game isn't very good? And it was the latter, it seems. Not looking phenomenal right now. Of course, the loss of Ronnie Bell, the best wide receiver, hurts, but you still got to be able to make accurate throws and hit your guys. And Cade McCarthy is not doing that, or McNamara. Cade McNamara is not doing that right now. Game got way closer than it ever should have been. I mean, what? It was... was it 17-3? Was it 20-3 at halftime? I don't remember.
I think so.
I don't think we scored in the second half.
Michigan did not score in the second half, no. I read a stat, and I would have to go back and watch this game, which I have zero interest in doing. I read a stat that Michigan only had one first down, or didn't have a first down in the second half until the fourth quarter, I should say.
Until the last drive of the game, yeah.
Oh, they didn't have a first down until the last drive of the game?
Yeah, I was, so now...
I wanted to bring that up and ask you that, if that was actually real, or was actually true.
So I was not able to watch this game. I was at a wedding, but I had the game up on Game Tracker on my phone the entire time, watching literally as every play happens. And I just keep seeing 2 yards, 3 plays, punt. 3 plays, -5 yards, punt. And it's just like, oh, God. Like, what are we doing? It wasn't until about a minute and a half to go that we finally got a first down, and I think we gained like 30-some yards on that final drive of the game. But, yeah. Yikes. Some dumb happening. There was one drive just got completely killed by penalties. Like 2 back-to-back penalties that took, after a good gain on first down, I think we had like a 2nd and 3 holding penalty, false start penalty, and all of a sudden it's like...
You just lose 20 yards right there.
Yeah, it's like 2nd and 23, and we're just fucked. And of course, Jim ain't passing the ball in that scenario. One, because Cade can't. 2, because he wouldn't call the play even if he could. And, yeah, rough game. But you get the win. So That's all I got to say about it. Hope this isn't a trend. Wisconsin, despite what they did against Notre Dame this weekend, is better than Rutgers. So, and you got to go on the road, your first road game of the year. So, we'll see what this Michigan team's made of this weekend. I mean, any talk about them possibly winning the Big Ten is going to, either continue or fade to nothing after this week.
This is where I said earlier I wanted to bring Jim Harbaugh into the conversation. I want to keep this brief, just for the sake of keeping the podcast moving here. The Ohio State blog 11 Warriors does a weekly post called Threat Level. It's assessing whether or not how legitimate of a chance Michigan has of beating Ohio State. Right now, it's low medium low, whatever you want to call it, because we don't really know what this Michigan team is. Because up until Rutgers, Rutgers is the first real team they've played. Something I can't believe I'm saying.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, Rutgers is...
They're not slouches anymore.
Yeah, worlds better than they used to be.
Yes.
But it still should have been a game that I think Michigan should have won. Now, I was dumb and picked them to cover, even though I knew there was no shot in hell that was going to happen.
I think I also picked Michigan to cover.
Yeah, there's too much running in that game. I didn't think about it. Yeah, no. Although we almost did somehow. We covered it at halftime.
Yeah.
But
but anyhow.
Back in there. But yes, on with Harbaugh.
This week's Threat Level post brought up whether or not, because Michigan under Harbaugh has had the more or less tradition of September's great, and then once they roll into October, they just turn to ass cheek.
Give or take.
More or less.
Sometimes we can make it to November before shit hits the fan, but yeah.
They brought up how much can Michigan fans trust Harbaugh to do the right thing? So I want to ask you this: how much do you trust in Harbaugh to make the right calls? Because
To make the right calls?
just in general, whether it be yanking Cade McNamara for anyone else, or deciding to actually throw the ball, because we saw this game against Rutgers just showed us how to showed everybody in the Big Ten how to beat Michigan. Stop the goddamn run.
Well, and yeah, that was the problem. Was I think we were running the ball to not show that. Like, they didn't want to show how putrid the passing game might be. So just run it down people's throats, and it worked for the first 3 weeks of the season. Do I trust Jim Harbaugh to make the right calls? I think so. He did make the decision to yank Joe Milton last year and put Cade in.
I mean, Joe Milton was putrid.
Joe Milton was awful. I don't know how he went to Tennessee and was a goddamn week 1 Heisman, but Joe Milton, good riddance. I was so happy when he transferred.
I don't have much to like. Go ahead.
I think I trust Harbaugh to make the right calls in terms of who's going to start. Because he's not as dumb as everyone thinks that he is.
I would say yes, because everyone thinks he's top tier stupid.
Yeah.
Because of all of his
when in reality he's just a goofy, weird guy. He's not stupid. He's just bizarre.
His decision making in the past is. Go ahead.
He's not Dan Campbell, like, out there, like, wacky, but
yeah.
Jim's a goofy guy.
His decision making in the past has just been questionable. At least decision making at Michigan.
It has.
I'm not gonna. I have my own opinions on why, but I'm not gonna voice those.
Yeah, he's just. We'll see. It's just another week where, you go out and you win, but you really didn't answer any questions. And after this last weekend's game, we have more than we had the week prior. So, which is never good. You never want that. So, we'll see. Wisconsin's going to be a big game in determining how Michigan's season is going to go.
And I also want to go ahead, finish. I have one other question I want to ask about this, though.
Yeah, just this is where we finally start to get some answers, because no answers were going to come through weeks 1 through 4. It was just never going to happen unless Washington was actually good and didn't lose to teams like Montana.
Yeah.
But I digress. Go ahead.
Final question on this, and we can move on. Was this a game of Michigan didn't beat Rutgers, they just scored more points than Rutgers?
Don't say that, because they did play well in the first half.
Okay, fair.
First half, I didn't have any problems with what we did. Defense was good, and it's not like the defense is bad. Allowing 13 points isn't bad.
No,
especially to Rutgers, who's gone out and against lesser competition. A couple weeks ago they put 60 up on some team.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're incapable
of scoring.
Of scoring and being decent on offense. So no, I won't say that. It's one of those games where, we just scored more, we didn't really beat them. I mean, first, we beat them by only playing one half of good football.
Okay.
And the problem was Rutgers only played about a quarter of good football.
Fair. Okay, moving on. Number 20, Michigan State played Nebraska. It took overtime, but Michigan State won 23-20. This ended up being a good game. From what I was told... Nebraska, from what I was told, Nebraska ended up losing through their own futility. Yes. This is a game because it fell in.
I watched this whole game. Yeah.
Because it fell in during Ohio State's time slot. This is another one I didn't watch.
Nebraska takes the lead in the fourth quarter, touchdown lead. You're thinking, fuck. And Michigan State's second half offense was a lot like Michigan's. They didn't get a first down until very late in the fourth quarter, if they did at all. I'm not sure if they did. Putrid offense from Michigan State, just like Michigan in the second half of their game this last weekend. Nebraska has them. They have a touchdown lead. Jaden Reed, I believe, a 68-yard punt return touchdown to tie the game. No points scored. We go to overtime. What, the fucking second throw of overtime? Adrian Martinez, pick. All they had, Michigan State literally didn't even make it to fourth down. They just said, hey, we're kicking the field goal. And they did, and they got it, and they won. Nebraska handed that away.
Yeah,
I mean, same. Michigan and Michigan State are in two very similar places right now where we don't know what these teams are. First 3 weeks, good. They beat the teams that they are scheduled against impressively. To the best, that they can do. You're looking at them and you're like, these teams have a shot to do something. And then both of them this week kind of laid an egg. And the only difference is Michigan State trailed in the late stages of that game. And then Nebraska handed it away. That interception was bad. It was very similar. You remember the awful fourth down play that Jared Goff had on Monday Night Football?
Yes.
That awful out route?
Yes.
It was another situation like that. Hardest throw on the field, except that the corner actually made a play, picked it off. So
all I'm going to say on Nebraska is I don't think they're the worst team in the Big Ten, but Adrian Martinez is just so ass. He is just so not good.
A big part of them being in the game. He was about all
because they run a high school offense where it's 3-yard throw, 3-yard throw, 3-yard throw. Like Nebraska runs the most vanilla offense, which is why it can be effective sometimes.
Yeah.
And then they on occasion will throw in a read option. They run an offense that it's essentially a fucking high school offense with a quarterback who can run. Like, that's what it is. And
it kind of reminds me in a way of Michigan's offense with Devin Gardner.
Okay, fair. That works. So that's really all I got on the...
Not a great thrower of the football, mobile. Yeah.
That's really all I got on Nebraska is... Like, I don't think they're terrible. It's just...
They fucking had them.
This was a game that if Nebraska was like legit good, they would have. This was a game they lost because of just their own futility. Because they're not a great team. They're not terrible. They're just not good either. Moving on. Number 21, North Carolina loses to Georgia Tech once again. One of the teams that was supposed to be really good in the ACC lost because they are
loser,
and the SEC is
loser.
Or ACC, I mean, is
loser.
I want nothing to do with Sam Howell on the Lions. Want nothing to do with him.
North Carolina is just bad. Moving on. Number 22, Fresno State beat UNLV 38-30. Not a lot to say about this because it happened. It was a game that happened.
UNLV in the Mountain West?
Maybe.
Oh man, I should have thrown a Mountain West game of the picks, but I digress.
Number 23, Auburn beat Georgia State 34-24. This is a close game. At one point, I believe Auburn trailed. Other than that, just odd slate of games for a lot of top 25 teams. Number 24, UCLA beat Stanford 35-24. This is a late slate game, so it didn't get watched by either of us. Not much to say about it. And finally, rounding out the top 25. Oklahoma State, unranked Oklahoma State, beat Kansas State 31-20. Mike Gundy is a man. He's a little over 40 now.
Come after me.
Yeah, he's quite a ways over 40 now.
Yeah.
That clip was a long time ago.
I know. I still love that clip. I actually started that one with that. Not much else to say about that. Kansas State not terrible. Oklahoma State not terrible. Kansas State's now 3-1. Oklahoma State's now 4-0. Moving on, that wraps up the recap. Let's give you guys a new top 25 look. 1, 2, 3 stay the same, or Alabama, Georgia, Oregon is 1, 2, 3. Penn State moves up to 4. Iowa stays at 5. Oklahoma drops down to 6. Cincinnati stays at 7. They moved up somehow, not playing. Arkansas jumped up 8 because, I mean, they did. Notre Dame jumped up to 9.
Be the top 10 team.
Yeah. Notre Dame jumps up to number 9. Florida jumps up to 10. Ohio State dropped to 11 because the AP is fucking stupid. I don't know what the AP wants out of Ohio State. I digress. I just don't get how in the coaches poll you move up, but in the AP poll you move down. Oh wait, I do, because it's a fucking popularity contest.
Most of the time, yes it is.
Ole Miss jumps up to 12. BYU jumps up to 13. Michigan jumps up to 14, which I don't entirely agree with. I think up to 14 is a little big for them. Going up to 14 is a bit big.
I mean, I think what you got to look at is who lost ahead of them.
Yeah.
Like Wisconsin, they were number 18, lost. Ole Miss, they were 13th, never mind. Iowa State, lost. BYU moved up. Clemson lost at 9, so they moved down below Michigan. And then I think they just put Michigan over Coastal Carolina for funsies. I don't know.
Texas.
So I don't hate it, but 14 feels high. But I mean, given who lost ahead of them,
Texas A&M drops to 15. Coastal Carolina Coastal Carolina moved up to 16. Michigan State moved up to 17. I don't have much to say about this. Maybe Michigan State should be a little higher. I
don't know.
Hard to say. Fresno State moves up to.
I think the only reason that Michigan moved up as much as they did, and Michigan State didn't move up so many spots, is the fact that they actually did trail in that game late in that.
Yeah, that. Like I said,
that's my only guess. I don't know.
Fresno State moves up to 18. Oklahoma State goes to 19. UCLA goes to from Oklahoma State was unranked. They jumped to 19. UCLA moved up 4 to 20. Baylor was unranked, go to 21. Auburn jumps up 1 spot to 22. North Carolina State was unranked. They are 23. Wake Forest 4-0, unranked, is 24. Clemson is 25, which I believe is a load of bullshit. I don't think Clemson should be even ranked. They're fucking terrible.
No.
DJ Ukulele is fucking terrible. In my own personal top 25, the House Divided short that I did yesterday, I had Texas in over Clemson. And teams that dropped from the rankings: Iowa State, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Kansas State. So there is your college football recap. Moving on to the NFL recap. Let's just get this going right here, right now. First game of the week, Carolina played Houston. This was on Thursday night. Christian McCaffrey got hurt, so this game really became unwatchable. Carolina won 24-9. The Buffalo Bills took on the Washington football team. Buffalo won 43-22. Whoa.
Yeah, Buffalo can score some points. Best team in the AFC, potentially.
Yeah. Cleveland took on Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields completed 6 passes out of 20, I believe it was. Had a QBR of 5. The Chicago Bears are fucking terrible all around. The Chicago Bears gave up 10 sacks, I believe it was. Cleveland won 26-6. Not a lot to say about that game, other than just what I did say.
The only thing notable is that now Matt Nagy is not committing to a starter for week 4. Now, that means Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, and Nick Foles are in consideration to start.
Well, 2 of those 3 are dinged up a little bit.
Yeah. So I watch Watch out for my Lions.
I don't even know why you bring that up because it's so irrelevant because the rest of the Chicago Bears team is so fucking terrible. They don't have an offensive line. They don't have a running game. Off of what we saw from this game, off of giving up 10 sacks, I guess I now understand why Matt Nagy didn't want to start Justin Fields because look what happened. He ends up getting dinged up, has an injury to his throwing hand. X-rays came back negative, but you still got to hold the fucking ball with that hand. I get it, I guess.
And I'll hope a QBR of 5.
I get it, I guess. The Baltimore Ravens beat Detroit 19-16. Jordan, take us away.
Where do I start with this?
Where do you start with this?
I don't know. Going into this game, I gave the Lions no shot. Baltimore was fresh off beating what we thought was the best team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. They come in, they have a decent first half. Detroit looked pretty lifeless offensively, as you would expect. And then the second half happened. And Jared Goff looked serviceable. DeAndre Swift was good. Jamal Williams scored a touchdown. The backup kicker that we signed off the practice squad, because Austin Seibert got COVID and isn't vaccinated, so he had to be out 10 days. He might come back this week. Who knows? Ryan Santoso kicks a field goal, and good Lord above, I believe with 1 minute and 3 seconds left, we have a lead over the Baltimore Ravens. How? I don't even understand this team. I don't get anything about them. But 1 minute and 3 seconds, I believe Baltimore.
I believe actually the score was like 18-16, not 19-16.
Yeah, that score doesn't seem right. It was 19-17.
Oh, 19-17. That's why the score ended up looking a little odd. So 19-17, not 19-16.
I was really confused about that.
But I looked at that. I was like, wait a second, something doesn't look right here.
Yeah, 1 point lead there for Detroit with 1 minute and change to go. And yet they kept Baltimore on a 4th and 19. And now there's another part where some fans and some people are criticizing the Lions and Dan Campbell. And we're going to get to, I'll get to that in a second. My first gripe with Dan Campbell in this game is on 4th and 19, you rush 3. You brought 3 dudes. No, let's be honest, they're not dudes.
3 guys.
3 guys to pressure Lamar Jackson and then just play this wide-ass, soft-ass zone on a 4th and 19. Baltimore picks up the first down. And then the field goal.
Real quick, I'm going to show where on the scale of dude the Detroit Lions defensive linemen are. Down here at the bottom, I pulled the scale of dude up just for this. They're down here kind of in between bum and guy. Right around here. Where I am.
That sounds about right, yes.
Right about there. So.
Yeah, that sounds about. Yeah, so you rush 3, Baltimore gets the pass off, first down, blah, blah, blah. Then, of course, there comes the field goal attempt from 66 yards by the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore should have had a delayed game.
On the play before the field goal attempt. Oops. Just hit a button. There we go.
Yeah, they should have had the delay game on the play before that. And a false start. 2 missed penalties. No one's talking about the false start because the delay game is so bad, but I did see a slowed down video of that where it seemed pretty clear that it was a false start. Ball's not moving, and right guard, I believe, took like 2-3 steps, 2-3 motions before the ball snapped. It's like, good Lord above.
Bad.
Then of course Justin Tucker does it to the Detroit Lions again. Lions played the Ravens on Monday Night Football a while back. Back when Stafford, Calvin Johnson were still there. Jim Caldwell was still the coach, I believe. And Justin Tucker hit a 61-yard field goal on a night when the Baltimore Ravens didn't score a touchdown. Justin Tucker scored all of their points. So, fitting. Yeah. This time he does it from 66, beats the previous longest NFL field goal by a whole 2 yards, off the crossbar and through, of all things. And the Detroit Football Lions, find another way to excruciatingly lose. Oh my God. Okay, so then I've seen a lot of people talking about they don't understand not going for a touchdown with a minute to go. Inside the 5, I think they were.
Take the point. When you're as bad as the Lions, take the points and just hope you can do something.
See, this is the part that I don't understand. So if that doesn't work, I mean, there's people out there that expect the Lions to be good. They're the ones that are more mad about this than anyone else. So I don't understand it. If it doesn't work, you lose anyway.
Yeah, you lose.
And now, if you want to say, look, this team isn't going anywhere, might as well take a chance, I guess. Like, pull a Michigan against Ohio State with Devin Gardner when they were just like, oh, well, fuck it, let's just try and ruin Ohio State's season. And we went for 2 and didn't get it. It's like a situation like that. I don't understand the of course, in hindsight, you're like, oh, well, we should have tried to score a touchdown. Yeah.
I still...
Okay. And if it doesn't work, you still lose.
Yeah, I will never... Go ahead.
And there was still... And that gets played by Baltimore so much differently. If they have a minute left, well, it would be under a minute, but they would have time left. Even if Detroit does get in the end zone, then they're not playing for field goal range. They're going to play to get into, range for, a Hail Mary, or with how bad Detroit's secondary is, they might just pass for a touchdown straight up. It's like, yeah, like, in hindsight, all the armchair, head coaches and everything, oh, well, we should have gone for the touchdown. Well, fucking hell. We took a lead with a minute to go. Ran out Baltimore's timeouts, I believe.
Think so.
And because that was Dan Campbell's reasoning, is that he wanted the timeouts and the lead. Why is that a bad thing? It didn't work out because Tucker's a god.
Lions fan, these particular people expect the Lions to be good and expect them to win. Like,
I understand it.
This is a team.
Who looked at this team and said, "Yep, that team. Oh, new coaching staff. Oh, look at all these new players we brought in. Yeah, they're all bums. They're meant to be bums. We didn't bring in good players. That was never the idea."
This Lions team is so bad that you take the fucking points and you just hope something happens. Because
and I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad about them losing. I want them to lose.
You take the points and you fucking just hope that your defense can prevent Lamar Jackson from doing something. And other than that 4th and 19 play where they gave up almost 40 fucking yards, they gave up 37 yards on 4th and 19. The first down play, nothing. Second down play, sack. Third down play, incomplete. Because Baltimore on that final drive ran 6 plays. One of them was the field goal.
Yeah.
5 plays. Four of those 5 plays were perfect. The first down play, nothing. I think the first down play may have been the sack. The second down play incomplete. Third down play incomplete. Fourth down, you give up a 38 yard pass, and then the ensuing play right after the 4th and 19 incomplete pass. I mean, it should have been a delayed game, but I digress. The refs fucked that one. I mean, there's not much else to say other than that, as the refs just fucked that. Should have been a delayed game.
You're used to it.
Yeah, like, there's nothing to like. I have no like. I can't really say anything about that.
It's just the Lions' way to lose a game.
Yeah.
Not only do you lose the game because there's a missed call, but you lose the game on the longest field goal that's ever field goaled.
Yeah.
Like, how do you can't write this stuff about the things that happened to this team?
So yeah, not just so.
Insane.
Justin Tucker set two records: longest field goal in NFL history and longest game-winning field goal. There's two. There was two of them. The longest game-winning field goal happened in 1950, also against the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, and then what was funny was that we also lost a game in the 70s with when the longest NFL field goal, with the first one to hit a 63-yarder, that was against the Lions. The first one to get to 64 was a Detroit Lion for a time. It wasn't when he was with the Lions, but Matt Prater when he was in Denver.
Yep.
And what was also funny, speaking of the kicking game, is Matt Prater did attempt a 68-yarder.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
in a game that we will indeed get to later.
It wasn't really close.
It wasn't really close, and it didn't go all that well for Matt Prater's team there. But yeah, no, it's just another way that the Lions. I mean, that's just, if you haven't been lionized watching this team already, man, I don't know what to tell you. Like, only the Lions could lose a game on a missed penalty and then the longest field goal in NFL history.
Yeah.
Only the Lions. But I'm like I said, I'm not even mad about it. I mean, would it have been great for Dan Campbell to get his first win against the Baltimore fucking Ravens? Yeah, absolutely. But he's probably gonna get it this next weekend against Chicago. Yeah, that's a rough one.
Moving on. Oh.
Rough game for people who actually expect this team to be good. But they're stupid. They get what they deserve.
Moving on, the Tennessee Titans beat the Indianapolis Colts 25-16. Not much to say here. I mean,
no,
there isn't, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, the only thing I had to say is that I thought these were two teams that had a really rough schedule at the start of the year. Carson Wentz banged up for the Colts. They're better than their record is. I don't know if they're gonna get this thing turned around, but Colts are a decent team. I do kind of feel bad for them. Tennessee looks to be getting on the right track. I like both of those teams.
Moving on, the Los Angeles Chargers beat the Kansas City Chiefs 30-25.
Wow.
The Chargers look for real, and right now the Kansas City Chiefs are slumping. They slump. They have this little just skid every year, and it looks like this year it might be earlier than normal. Normally, their skid happens in like November.
Yeah.
Going into December, they have that just a little random skid just because it's a long season. You'll fucking lose focus. It might just be happening right now that they're just hitting that skid now. I don't know. That's really all I got on it.
I will say that I think that was the worst game, and I told you this when we were talking earlier this week. I think that's the worst game of Patrick Mahomes' career, which is saying a lot. I mean, it's better than half the quarterbacks probably played in this league this weekend.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there is that too. That he just played.
It's not like the Super Bowl when he just didn't have help from his receivers or his old line. I think Patrick Mahomes looked a little off in this one. LA Chargers though are for real. I think that division's going to be fun all year long. Chargers, if not for playing in the Jerry Dome there in Dallas and getting boned left, right, and center by the officials, they pee on a pretty good little roll here. But beating Kansas City will help that out, and LA's got some nice momentum going for him. And I love Justin Herbert.
Yeah, the Chargers got some good momentum going. I think they could have a good season. They're just gonna have to beat the Chiefs a second time, which
potentially. I mean, right right now, Kansas City's last in that division.
Yeah, off of only one division game. Like,
Right. Well, but they're now 1-2.
fucking irrelevant.
I don't know.
Fucking irrelevant.
At this point,
Like,
yes.
fucking irrelevant. They're gonna.
I don't think Kansas City's gonna go the rest of the season and not get this thing figured out.
Like 1-2. They played the Baltimore Ravens, which are is gonna be one of the best teams in football in the AFC again this year. Probably one of the best teams in football, and they lose to them by 1, and then they lose to the Chargers by 5. Fuck 1-2.
Wonder.
1-2 is fucking irrelevant. Anyone who says otherwise is a fucking moron. Let's be honest.
No. Kansas City will be fine.
Yeah. Moving on, the New Orleans Saints beat New England 28-13. Not much to say here.
New Orleans gets back on track at least. New England, oh boy.
Mac Jones is.
I mean, better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a minute. Moving on to what was possibly the worst game of the week.
Well, worst two teams playing each other.
Or yeah, that too. That also distinctly possible. The Atlanta Falcons beat the New York Giants 17-14.
Good for Atlanta and Matty Ice, man.
Good for Atlanta and Kyle Pitts. Fuck Matty Ice. Fuck Matt Ryan. I don't even hate Matt. I don't even hate Matt Ryan. I just don't think he's one of those starters that he has a job because there's 31 other teams.
Yeah, at this point in his career, maybe.
Like, Matt Ryan has fallen off so immensely, and you could say it's. I mean,
He has lost Julio Jones, though.
They weren't good with Julio Jones last year.
No, the team itself wasn't good, but Matt Ryan looked better.
Like, that team has not been good in a couple of years.
They haven't been the same since the Super Bowl loss, man.
Like, yeah, since that team just fell off a fucking cliff, and
honorable mention for stupid people saying stupid things that I forgot. Somebody on Twitter on a post that was not related to Tom Brady or the Falcons said, I'm an honest Falcons fan, and I'm so sick of hearing people call Tom Brady the GOAT.
Loser.
Dead silence. Move on.
I pressed the button. Moving on to a game that pissed me off because the Cincinnati Bengals won. Cincinnati
I
beat.
gotta grab my phone charger. Hold on. I'm gonna mute myself, but I'm listening.
Okay. Cincinnati beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 24-10. Some stats before I get into this game itself. Ben Roethlisberger threw the ball 60 times. Went 38 for 63, 18, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Joe Burrow threw the ball 18 times, 14 completions, 172 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Joe Mixon ran the ball, had 18 carries and 90 yards. Najee Harris had 14 and 40 yards because the Steelers just apparently hate running the football. Jamar Chase was the leading receiver for the Bengals at 4 receptions, 65 yards, and caught 2 of Joe Burrow's 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase at least seems to be able to catch the fucking football now. He couldn't do it in preseason. Good for him. Najee Harris was the leading receiver for Pittsburgh. 14 receptions, 102 yards. I guess they're giving him the ball somehow. Najee Harris, in my opinion, right now is the best offensive player on that fucking team. That team just
Love Najee Harris.
That team just does not look good. That Pittsburgh Steelers team they're bad. That defense was terrible.
Big Ben's the worst quarterback in the division.
Yeah, everything. Mike Tomlin seems lost. You're having Ben Roethlisberger throw the ball 60 fucking times when you have a dude for a running back. I
get it. I feel like they don't have any confidence in what they're doing. So
the team has no confidence in anything. They're bad.
You just feel. I think that team feels like they're going to be behind in every game. So that's like the game plan is have Ben throw it 60 goddamn times.
Fucking stupid. So that's all I got on the Steelers. Like, without TJ Watt, that Steelers team is that Steelers defense is literal ass because then all they have is Joe Hayden. Like that
love Joe Hayden, but
that defense just doesn't exist this year. I thought that defense was gonna be fucking elite, especially after the Bills game, and Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I trust in Mike Tomlin a little bit. I think they'll get better.
I think the defense will get better. I don't think the offense is going to get better because they have no idea what they want to do on offense. They have zero trust in anything, zero faith in anything they're going to do. Moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals.
One last thing about the Steelers is something I saw that I want to mention. At any point this season, does Mike Tomlin have to make the tough decision to bench Big Ben?
I don't know because the guy you have behind him is Dwayne Haskins.
Or Mason Rudolph.
Is Dwayne Haskins. Because you already know what you got with Mason Rudolph and it was terrible.
Yeah, when Ben was hurt, yeah.
You already know what you got out of Mason Rudolph and that was fucking atrocious. So the guy you have behind him is Dwayne Haskins, which you don't really know what you're going to get out of Dwayne Haskins. He had some moments of being good at Washington despite the futility of the Washington football team. Then he had some moments of just not being good, along with the futility of the Washington football team. So you don't know what you have behind Ben Roethlisberger. You don't know if you're going to have someone who's good or if you're going to just get another trash can.
Yeah. I feel like you gotta let Ben ride it out, even if it doesn't go well, man.
Moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals, I do not want to call this team good. I will not call this team good because I think this team's still only going to get 5 wins, maybe 6. The Bengals do
They already have 2.
The Bengals do this almost every year, no matter how bad they are. They find a way to beat fucking Pittsburgh. Somehow, I figured this. I even said it last week. I thought Pittsburgh was going to win this game big because the Bengals lost to a team that is, in my opinion, just as bad as them. The Chicago Bears are just as bad, if not worse than the Bengals. This Bengals team, I don't want to go out and say they're actually good. I don't even really want to say they're going out and showing any signs of improvement from last year, because last year they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers once. They only had 4 wins. I mean, it took them.
I was gonna ask you about that. Do you think this Bengals team is better than they were a year ago?
If there is any improvement, it's just because at the end they have Joe Burrow right now, and the final 7 games of the season last year they didn't. Like, yeah, that might be it.
They would have won more than 4 games, I feel, if Burrow was still, living.
I don't think so.
Really?
I know. I don't.
Man, I'd have to go back and look at that schedule. I think they win at least 1 or 2 more.
No. Maybe 1 more. Oh. I'll concede maybe 1 more. Because
they weren't a good team, but I think Burrow. I mean, who started games for you guys after Burrow got hurt?
Ryan Finley.
The COVID guy.
Ryan Finley, who also got hurt and then got COVID.
No, not him. The COVID reserve quarterback.
Oh, I don't even remember his name because he's not even on the roster anymore, believe it or not.
I doubt he's in the league.
Probably not. Let's see if I can find out. Nope, he's not because Brandon Allen's back. No, it was Brandon Allen. I'm sorry.
I remember putting Brandon out. If that's really his name, I remember putting him on a graphic for the podcast last year.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was very tough to find a picture of him.
They have Jake Browning on the roster also because Ryan Finley's not there anymore.
Jake Browning?
Yep.
Washington Jake Browning?
Yep. So yeah, I don't want to call this Bengals team good. If there is any improvement, I mean, that offensive line is better than they were last year. That offensive line was the worst in the fucking league last year.
Well, that's because you got rid of the worst offensive lineman in the league last year.
And probably
Billy Price, I think, was his name.
No, it was Riley Reef.
Riley Reef. No, I thought Billy Price is the word. Riley Reef's not great either, but
I could go back and look real quick.
I swear it was Billy Price. I think he didn't move on to the Giants or something. Fitting that they had the worst offensive lineman in the league at Eric Flowers for a long time, and I think he's a Giant now. Billy Price.
I say no. It was Bobby Hart. I'm sorry, it was Bobby Hart.
That's right. Yes, I knew it was a B name.
Because Riley Reef is on the team now. But yeah, Bobby Hart was the worst. Because I think Billy Price is still there at center.
Nope, he's with the Giants.
He is with the Giants now? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think this Bengals team is significantly better than they were last year. Like, that's all I got. I think they'll win 5 games, maybe 6. So there will be, once again, marginal improvement. Probably enough improvement for Zach Taylor to keep his job, which I don't agree with. I don't think he's phenomenal.
Not a dude.
I don't think... I get it. Marvin Lewis gave him a team that was ass. But I'm just not confident in what he can do. I would not be shocked if the Bengals lose to Jacksonville this week. Speaking of Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Jaguars played the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona won 31-19. However, the longest touchdown play in NFL history happened. It was Jacksonville who got it because Matt Prater missed a 68-yard field goal by about 2 yards. 3 yards, and it was returned for a touchdown. 108-yard touchdown. 109-yard touchdown.
Unless it got changed, yeah, it was 109.
Okay, so 109 yards, so he missed it by about 1.5 yards, 2 yards. Prater did.
Which, I mean, fair enough. So what you're telling me is that he could have also hit a 68 or 66-yard field goal.
Apparently.
Prater's got a leg even at this stage of his career.
There's not much else to say about that.
No.
Trevor Lawrence threw an interception that was returned for a touchdown. That's essentially where the tide turned for Arizona, and they end up winning the game. Arizona's looked odd. That's all I got.
Yeah, allowing 19 points to Jacksonville is a bit sketchy, a little bit concerning. But offense is good. Offense can get it done.
The Denver Broncos beat the New York Jets. The goddamn Jets. Jets, Jets. They scored 0. 26-0 is the final score. Literally nothing to say about this. The Jets are awful.
Jets stink. The goddamn Jets live on. We're worst team in the NFL. There ain't a goddamn doubt.
Yeah. The Las Vegas Raiders continue their undefeated season. They beat Miami 31-28 in overtime.
Yeah.
I have nothing on this because
A quick shout out to Jacoby Brissett though. I gave him no shot at playing a decent game, and he kept them in there. So props to Jacoby, man.
he threw a ball that ended up being a safety at one point.
Well, yes, but he was way better than I expected him to be.
I will say, yeah, I can agree with that. The game of the week, the Los Angeles Rams beat Tampa Bay 34-24. I just want to quick say I was right.
Yeah, you were.
That Rams defense is suffocating. That Rams defense is phenomenal. Matthew Stafford played good too. The worst thing about this game is that we had to listen to Joe Buck.
Yeah, the Rams, man. I know it's early season, and it really doesn't mean anything in the long run, because it could just be like last year, where Tampa Bay doesn't quite find it. Brady.
No, I think this is different.
Teams are they never fully get going to the playoffs. Postseason Brady's fucking different, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, they're gonna make it. The division sucks.
Oh God, yeah.
So, despite the Panthers, but now they don't have McCaffrey, so who the hell knows what's gonna happen to them? I mean, hey, props to my boy Matthew Stafford. Even though it hurts the Lions every time they win, because we had their first round pick this year.
Oops. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Well, we knew this was gonna happen, and the people that are like, well, you shouldn't be rooting for Stafford to be successful as a Lions fan. If you do, you're dumb. Like, it was going to be a late round pick anyway. What's the difference if it's 23rd or 31st?
Right.
It's another first round pick. And we got some nice guys in the front office that, we haven't had in a while. John Dorsey, who built both the Browns and the Chiefs to their current state. So
all I'm going to say, you said, this game might not mean anything because Tom Brady's teams always start off slow. I think this is different because they played a real fucking defense. Last year, and they played just a real fucking team. A lot of the teams that the Buccaneers lost to last year, with the exception of the Chiefs
and the Saints,
weren't really good.
No,
they were just head scratcher losses last year.
Yeah,
This is a game that it makes sense that they lost because they played a real team. They played a good team. This Rams team, because of that defense, is going to be the best team in the NFC. They're gonna be the number 1 seed in the NFC, unless something falls off the rails and someone like injuries or something catastrophic would have to happen to this Rams team.
Yeah, at this point, yes. They do play in a tough-ish division. Niners are okay, despite the loss to Green Bay. Who the hell knows what's going to go on with Arizona? And the Seahawks, I don't believe they're as bad as the 1-2 record might show. It's a better Seahawks team than we had a year ago, so I can't see them being somehow. So I don't know.
Yeah, that division's
Rams
tough.
Still the best team. Rams team, they're still the best team in that division.
That division's tough, but every other team, the Cardinals have question marks because they haven't been playing especially that defense has not been playing phenomenal. The Seahawks haven't been playing phenomenal. Every team in that division is better than what they might look on paper, but all 3 of those teams have other teams have question marks on on their team right now.
Mm-hmm. The Rams just don't.
Yeah, the Rams are. I would not be surprised if the Rams win the Super Bowl this year.
I wouldn't either, man.
Like, that's it, right there.
I'd be happy as hell for Stafford, that's for sure.
Moving on to another NFC West team. Minnesota played the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks, Minnesota Vikings won 30-17. I don't have a lot to say because the Seahawks just didn't look good. That's it.
No, and it's a troubling loss to the Vikings, who are not a good team. Seattle's got to get shit figured out. I'll tell you that right now.
Like, that's all there is to it. Like, there's nothing to say about this. Say about that game. Green Bay played the San Francisco 49ers. We have a triple header here. Fucking NFC West team in the recap. Right. Green Bay won off of Aaron Rodgers' heroics. I believe there was 40 seconds left on that final drive. 37 on that final drive. Green Bay wins 30-28. Aaron Rodgers is good. The 49ers aren't bad. They still have, it seems like Jimmy Garoppolo is very much the starter, so that helps them. Still got questions, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Other than that, it comes down to Aaron Rodgers just is good.
And people have been saying, well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't really look like he's interested. Man, I'd be fucking afraid to see if he was.
I would say, if he doesn't look interested and he's still doing what he's doing, other than in week one was just fart noise.
Yeah, week one was an anomaly. I don't really know what happened there, but you got guys that are former teammates of Aaron Rodgers. TJ Lang, who was a offensive lineman for the Packers for a long time, with Aaron Rodgers there. He came out and said on Twitter, like, Aaron doesn't look like he's like fully into this, and yet he's still doing Aaron Rodgers things.
Honestly, he probably isn't, because I don't really think the team wants him there.
And I really don't think Aaron wants to be there.
Oh yeah, because the team definitely is throwing him under the bus.
This team, or this season for the Packers, just feels like a last ride for Aaron Rodgers there.
Yeah.
We'll see if he goes anywhere else or goes and fucking retires and hosts Jeopardy. I don't fucking know what's gonna go on with Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, he's doing what he's got to do. The division he's in sucks. They'll make the playoffs, and who knows what's gonna happen with the Packers after that, because Aaron Rodgers is special.
And the final game of the week is definitely one there's literally nothing to say for the most part. The Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles in the literal worst division in all of football. Dallas won 41-21. Jalen Hurts was bad. Dak Prescott was good. The Cowboys were good. They're gonna make the playoffs this year. As long as nothing catastrophic happens, they're gonna have a good season.
Yeah, as long as they don't lose Dak, I think they'll be in good shape. Should run away with that division with how bad it is. Dallas is strong. Eagles stink.
That division's terrible. That is your your NFL recap for week 3. Let's move on to MLB postseason preview, because
The best one we could do anyway.
Best as we could do.
Full damn show next week, so we can't fit
We
it in
can't-
there, so it's gotta stick here.
Yeah. As of right now, it looks like we still are going to be doing the NHL preview next Wednesday with our friend from Canada, from south of us, from the great
South of us Michiganders.
from the Great White North. Jeff, he will be coming. He'll be coming on the show, doing an NHL preview with us. So we couldn't get a full postseason preview and full MLB postseason preview. Maybe, spoiler alert. Maybe once everything is said and done before the wildcard games start, maybe Jordan and I will do a short that Sunday, next Sunday or Monday. Maybe.
Well, I didn't even know this was a possibility, but I'd be down for that.
I didn't think about it until just now because both of the shorts that I've done have seemingly done decent enough in terms of metrics on YouTube. But moving on, so far. Let me pull up an actual thing because I want to see who.
I mean, yeah, shit could have changed since we've even fucking been on.
I doubt it, but
No, Houston hasn't done anything. Both Houston and Atlanta have a 4.5 game lead in their division. So those divisions should be decided in the coming days. Everything else is decided except the American League. Well, the American League East is decided with the Rays, but the wild cards for the American League, oh boy.
Yeah. So far,
Four teams, potentially 5, with a chance at those wild card spots.
Yeah, so far, your American League teams that have clinched, the Tampa Bay Rays and the Chicago White Sox, the Rays have not officially won their division yet. I believe.
I think
No, they have. I'm sorry, they have. They have officially clinched their division. The Chicago White Sox have clinched their division. Houston looks like they're going to, but it's hard to say because they still have a 4.5 game lead on Seattle. Looking at your American League wild card right now, the Yankees have a 1 game lead on the entire thing. The Red Sox are then flat even. The Seattle Mariners are 1 game behind Boston. The Toronto Blue Jays are 1 game behind Boston as well. And
so close.
Yeah. So there's your American League.
I don't even know how Seattle's up there.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, negative 50 run differential, and they're 88 and 70.
Yeah.
I guess when they lose, they get blown out.
Yeah. And then moving on to your National League, the Milwaukee Brewers clinched a few days ago. San Francisco has not officially clinched their division. Them and the Dodgers still have a slight division race. I believe as of right now, San Fran is still 2 games up on the Dodgers, but both of them have clinched a spot. And then the Cardinals have clinched, I believe, their division. No.
The wild card.
The Cardinals have clinched a wild card spot. So you either have Atlanta or Philadelphia, whoever wins that division. Right now it looks like it's Atlanta. Atlanta's still 4.5 up on Philly. I believe the magic number for Atlanta is 1. I think, if I remember correctly, I think I saw that right. Your wild card.
Yeah, they have. Here, let's see. They have another game with the Phillies.
If Atlanta wins that game, they win the division. There you go.
Yeah, because there's only 3 games in the month of October against the Mets.
Yeah. The wild card's already been set in the National League. It's just what happens with San Fran or the Dodgers winning that division. That's it. There's your postseason.
We know the Cardinals are in there.
Yep.
Real quickly, I do want to run through the odds. Now, we don't have to take this, any farther. We don't have to make any predictions or anything like that. But right now, the teams that are still playoff eligible to win the World Series. So we're just going to run through these really quick.
Okay, go
Oakland
ahead.
Athletics, plus 50,000.
Not taking
Now,
them. Wouldn't take them.
They are what, 4 games back in the wild card with 4 teams ahead of them.
Yes.
So that's looking like a bad one. Seattle Mariners plus 10,000. One of the teams that are within that 2-game threshold between the Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Mariners. They're hanging in there, but the lowest odds of any of those American League wildcard teams, potential wildcard teams, Philadelphia Phillies, who if they lose the division, which it looks like they're going to the Atlanta Braves, plus 6,600. Wouldn't touch that at all.
Wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No. Toronto Blue Jays plus 3,000. Boston Red Sox plus 2,500 rather. The St. Louis Cardinals at plus 2,000. Atlanta Braves plus 1,500. That seems a little high. New York Yankees plus 1,200. Chicago White Sox plus 750. Brewers plus 725. The Giants surprisingly down at plus 700. I feel like I might want to put a little sprinkle on. Oh no. I'm on the Giants bandwagon, damn it. Tampa Bay Rays also plus 700.
That would be fair.
Team that hasn't even technically clinched their division yet, the Houston Astros at plus 475, and the current favorite to win the World Series, who might lose their division to the San Francisco Giants, the LA Dodgers at plus 325.
All I'm going to say is, even in a wild card game, like, because they're going to throw Kershaw on the mound in the wild card game, most likely. I mean,
I would assume.
First off, it doesn't matter what starting pitcher. Every pitcher on the Dodgers is a fucking ace. Let's be honest.
For fucking real. Even without Bauer, for obvious reasons, they've been.
Yeah.
They got dudes everywhere.
That team's just a team of dudes, and the Giants have had a good run. I would be terrified to see the Dodgers in a 7-game series. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I would want nothing to do with that. Glad they're in the National League, and you got to make it to the World Series if the Tigers ever want to have a chance at them. So
I think if the Dodgers can get out of the wild card game, if they don't have to play a wild card game, I think the Dodgers are gonna win the fucking National League.
Quite possibly. St. Louis is hot though. They did lose today, but they won 17 straight prior to that.
And the Rays, I think, are just the best team in the American League. So I think I would not be.
I would say so. I don't know why Houston has better odds to win the whole thing.
Because it's Houston. That's simply it.
You're probably right.
So there's your. I mean, not much of a postseason preview, but there's your postseason preview. It is time for the picks.
The picks, indeed.
And I punt this over to Jordan.
So, quick look at the standings for college football.
Did I put the right scene on? Yes, I did.
I hope so.
That'd be awkward.
We didn't have great weeks, but better than I was better than I was in week 3. You were the same. You won 6. I won 7. We kind of both stink at this college thing. So let's get
it's just so awkward.
Shall we? First game of the picks. Big Ten action, and this is Friday night football. The number 5 Iowa Hawkeyes, they are on the road and they travel to also undefeated Maryland in what could be a good game if Maryland's actually for real. Now, I don't know if they are. Iowa, a 3.5-point road favorite. Who do you got? Battle of 4-0 teams.
This game could be sneaky good. However, Maryland did not look good against Illinois a couple weeks ago. They got the win. So
Hell no.
I am going to go with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, even on the road, with Iowa, I can't pick against them, especially with that spread so small.
Yep.
Give me Iowa. I think this could get ugly. I don't really fully believe in Maryland. So It's 3.5 points. Fucking college game. Can't do it. Give me Iowa. Moving on, the surprising Arkansas Razorbacks. No Brett Bielema, thank God. He's
Say,
long gone.
they would be 0-4 if Brett Bielema was still there. Look at
No
Illinois.
doubt. Oh, man. Oh, the poor fighting Lion Eye. Oh, the Arkansas Razorbacks, they're on the road. 18.5-point dogs to number 2, Georgia. But both teams are undefeated. Who do you got?
Oh. I can't believe I'm doing this. I think this game.
No.
I think this game is gonna be way closer than what it could be. I
No.
am taking the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, believe it or not, you are not in the minority.
No.
67% of the picks are on Arkansas for CBS Sports Pick'em. Believe it or not. I'm gonna go with Georgia. I can't do it with Arkansas. They might prove me wrong this week, but I just think Georgia's so much better. 18.5. It is a lot of points, but I think Georgia is capable of covering that, and I don't think Arkansas is as good as being ranked 8th.
No, I think 8th is very overrated.
I can't believe in Arkansas yet. It might be the death of me, but give me Georgia. Oh, what would be a college basketball classic rivalry? The Duke Blue Devils travel to North Carolina. North Carolina not ranked anymore, I do believe. No, they're not. But still favored by 18.5 over Duke. Tar Heels, Blue Devils. This game might be crap.
This game is gonna be awful.
Needed a pew sound effect there.
This game is going to be a game of
Loser.
I'm taking Duke. 18. North Carolina has not shown anything of winning by 19 or more points. Like, this game's gonna be ass. I'm going with the Blue Devils to cover. Maybe not win. This game, for all I care, could end in a fucking 0-0 tie. This game was on ESPN 2 at noon. This game should be on ESPN 700 at like 7 in the fucking morning. So nobody has to see it. Send this game send this game to Belgium.
It's too good. Belgium's too good for this game. Give me Duke as well. North Carolina hasn't done any single one thing to impress me. Fuck off, North Carolina. Honestly, fucking 2-2. Texas and TCU. Texas on the road facing off against the Horned Frogs. That big win last week, kind of getting the Vegas numbers back on the Texas bandwagon. Texas favored by 4.5. Was that an actual yawn, or was that was there a little bit of fake yawning in there?
It was an actual yawn, and then a sigh of this. This is gonna be another game that could just be ass.
A very well timed yawn.
Yeah. Like, Texas might be good. They might be ass. I don't know. They lost to Arkansas. Arkansas might be good. Might be ass. TCU also could be ass. I'm taking Texas because they're averaging 20 more yards per game, and TCU's defense is only giving up like 8 yards less per game, I believe is the math there. Yeah. I think that's the math they're giving me. I'm taking Texas at 4.5. Texas to win by more than 4.5.
So your prediction for this game: Texas might be ass, TCU might be ass. This game might be ass.
Yes, and yes.
Okay, Daniel Bryan. My bad, Brian Danielson. Give me Texas too, 4.5. I haven't watched a single TCU game this year. Highlights, nothing. Don't know anything about them. I'm just going to go with the favorite here because I could care less about the Big 12. All right, noon on Fox. the undefeated Michigan Wolverines on the road, their first road game of the year, traveling to Camp Randall. Oh, jump around, worst tradition in college football. Michigan favored, believe it or not, after that Rutgers performance, but only by 1.5.
Wisconsin, there is no might be ass about Wisconsin. They're ass. Graham Mertz wears jorts and he's ass. This game in a normal year would be, in a year where Wisconsin is not ass, this game would be really good, but it's going to be ass because Michigan is going to win by more than 2. Michigan is going to win by a dick ton. I remember you said you saw a Wisconsin fan thinking that Wisconsin needed to win by 35. Wisconsin's not going to win by 35. Wisconsin's not going to win by 1. Wisconsin's not going to fucking win. Wisconsin's ass. I'm taking Michigan.
That was another one of those posts where Facebook just suggested it for me after a Michigan football thing, and it took me to a Wisconsin Badgers group, and there were multiple Wisconsin fans. One said, we need to win by at least 2 touchdowns, and the other guy was like, nah, we need to win by 35. Okay, that was pre-Notre Dame game. No, it wasn't. It was after. It was a Sunday. Good Lord above. Yeah, give me Michigan. Say what you will about this last weekend against Rutgers. I still think they're better than Wisconsin, and you're only going to give me 1.5 points. Not like I'd pick against Michigan anyway, but give me Michigan. Moving on, top 10 matchup. Cincinnati travels to touchdown Jesus. Favored on the road, though, are the Bearcats. Only by 2.5. Notre Dame fresh off the 41-whatever win against Wisconsin. Who do you got in this?
Well,
somebody takes their first L.
Well, last week, in the fourth quarter, God said, let there be touchdowns, and Notre Dame scored a lot of touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I just wanted to get that in because I forgot to get it in during the football recap. That's all I got there. I'm going Cincinnati, though. Notre Dame has won every game they've played solely because the other team they have played has been because their opponent's futility, because the opponent they've had is ass. Cincinnati, I mean, they beat Indiana because Indiana's ass, and Indiana gave them a game until the fourth quarter, and then Indiana's futility showed. But other than that, Cincinnati's looked solid. Cincinnati is, in my opinion, not ass. I am going the Cincinnati Bearcats to win by 3 or more.
Over under how many times ass is going to be said in the picks here today? 700 million.
Just because that is a huge number, I'm gonna take the under. If you would have given me like 30, I would have definitely taken the over because I'm already close to 30 probably.
I'm gonna say we're already probably nearing 30. I'm gonna live to regret this. Give me Notre Dame. I know a lot of the points in the Wisconsin game were fourth quarter. They were late in that game. It was when they really pulled away. I don't know. I rolled with them last week. It paid off. Give me Notre Dame again.
Okay, fair enough.
Are you ready for some action, baby? The Central Michigan Chippewas are on the road. Taking on Miami, Ohio. Central Michigan getting 1.5 on the road. Who do you got?
Well, I'm going to say it again. Miami of Ohio's ass.
Ass.
Fire up, Chips. Give me Central Michigan.
I know you can't see this because, I had to wear, well, I'm not even wearing a Michigan gear on my cardboard cutout there, but I am wearing a Central Michigan hat currently. Give me the Chippewas. They're going to go into Miami of Ohio and whoop some, what are they, the Red Hawks?
Red Hawks,
something
yeah.
Like that?
Yep, Miami of Ohio Red Hawks.
Whoop some Red Hawk ass. Give me the Chippewas. Moving on. Oh boy, number 11, Ohio State. They're on the road facing stupid Rutgers, heading into the birthplace Ohio State favored by 15.5 on the road. Both teams 3-1. As if there was ever a doubt as to what your pick was gonna be.
OH. IO. Because I know I'm not getting a response to that on this podcast.
Nope, not a chance.
Rutgers is good, but here's the thing. Unlike Michigan, Ohio State can score points.
Yeah, and Michigan can score points. They just decided not to last week. That's
Ohio State can. Let me rephrase it. Ohio State can score points a fuck ton faster than Michigan can.
Yeah.
There, let's call it what it is. Michigan can score points. They just don't do it quick. Ohio State scores points quick.
Take the under in every fucking Michigan game this year.
I'm going Ohio State. I don't think Rutgers is bad, but I mean, I just don't know if that Rutgers team is gonna be able to slow down Ohio State enough.
Yeah, not enough points for me to take Rutgers here. You're talking 21 or more, I'd consider it.
I would too.
Happen.
Actually, in all honesty.
Not going to happen with 15.5. Ohio State's going to give them a tougher game than Michigan did, I think, because they aren't one-dimensional right now. So, yeah, give me the Buckeyes. Big game. Honestly. Number 12, Ole Miss. They're on the road, heading into Alabama. 14.5-point dogs. Probable Heisman frontrunner Matt Corral at quarterback. Who do you got in this one?
Oh, this is an interesting one because Ole Miss can score points.
Mm-hmm.
However, their defense is not Alabama's defense.
No.
As much as I do not want to, because 14.5, so you're talking Alabama needs to win by 15. I'm going to say it. I'm not actually going to say it. I'm still going to go Alabama. I was going to say something that I would have regretted. I'm not going to. I'm going Alabama, though.
Oh, no. Were you going to say you'd take it if it was 21?
I almost said that, though, too. I almost echoed our good friend Horace for a second.
Oh, no. Not Horace. The thing is that they can score points. And I think that this game could be tight, just like Alabama and Florida was. So 14.5, you're going to give me more than 2 touchdowns? Take Ole Miss. I don't know if they'll win the game. I don't think they'll win the game, but I think they'll be closer than 14.5. Oh, boy. Oklahoma, who's looked, well, let's just be honest, not Oklahoma-like all year long. They're favored by 10.5 on the road against Kansas State, who they haven't beaten in 2 years. Oh, boy. Oh, good God above. Who do you got?
After just seeing some highlights from how Oklahoma looked against West Virginia, they need to win by more than 10.5. It's not going to happen, though. I'm taking Kansas State.
So, as I said, Oklahoma hasn't beaten Kansas State in 2 years. I guess 3. They've lost the last 2 games against Kansas State, 19-20. That trend changes. Give me the Sooners. If they have any decent shot at making the playoffs, this needs to be a statement game from them. Can't believe I'm doing it. Oklahoma's not looked Oklahoma-like at all. But give me the Sooners. Boomer, whatever. Florida, they're on the road. So many of the teams that we actually give a shit about on the road this week. Florida on the road. The Gators traveling to Kentucky. Favored by 8.5. Kind of a tiny spread. But I have a feeling I know where you're going, given that I can see you're backed up from your microphone.
In my lifetime, Kentucky has beaten the Florida Gators once.
Is that good?
Depends on who you're talking about. Depends on who. If for Kentucky, no, because that's 25 years of futility against the Florida Gators. That trend continues. Gators by more than 8.5.
Yeah.
This game could be easily a 3-touchdown game, I think.
I am gonna take Florida. I have never had faith in Kentucky football. I know they're 4-0. Boop-a-doo. I don't care.
Kentucky,
Give me the Gators.
they just haven't really played anyone this year to go 4-0. Like,
No, exactly. I mean, good God. Oh, boy. I'm just glad I threw this next one in here.
this is a game.
The Liberty University whatevers. I don't even no clue what they are. They're on the road taking on UAB. Liberty rather getting 1.5 on the road. Both teams 3-1. Liberty did lose a game. They are not undefeated as we had previously thought before last night. What do you say in a game that we won't watch because it's on the CBS Sports Network?
I am not going to pick University of Alabama Birmingham. I am going Liberty.
Give me Liberty or give me death.
Fuck! I'm glad someone took it. I once I saw UAB, I was like, nah, I can't take UAB. I can't take the University of Alabama Birmingham Rattlesnakes or whatever the fuck they are.
Not a chance. Well, I threw this next game in here just for you because of your hatred for Dabo Swinney. Boston College on the road getting 15.
The Liberty Flames, by the way, is what they are. Thank you for that. I'm going Liberty. Yep, give me Liberty or give me death also, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Boston College on the road, undefeated, heading to take on Clemson. Oh boy. Can't wait for your opinion on this.
I have voiced my hatred for Dabo Swinney a lot over the course of this podcast. I'm going to continue.
Podcast.
What?
Over the history of this.
Oh, yeah, over the history, especially the past year and a half.
Yes.
Past season 4 and so far season 5, yes. I'm going to continue that trend. I also voiced it today in this show too. Fuck you, Dabo Swinney. Also, DJ Ugalele is awful. He is ass. Dabo Swinney is ass. Dabo Swinney did what, in my opinion, for a college coach, is the most douchey thing to do a couple weeks ago when they played Georgia Tech, and he full on sprinted out ahead of ahead of his team to get his own moment in the fucking sun. Which, as a college coach, it's not about you. I don't care. You're the
Don't you know that Dabo Swinney is Clemson?
right.
Fuck that Trevor Lawrence dude they had.
Or Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, fuck all those guys, right?
Fucking
Dabo Swinney.
like biggest douchebag move of a college coach could do right there. Like, what the fuck? It's not run out. If you run out with the team, don't run out ahead of them. And then there was the kind of old creepy dude thing where he slapped that cheerleader on the ass that could probably be his fucking granddaughter.
Oh, God.
Or at least his daughter, because, I mean, Dabo Swinney might be like 55, so daughter, I guess, but still. Fucking just creepy, weird. Dabo Swinney is a fuck. I fucking hate him. He's fucking awful. He's a douche canoe. Just fucking sack of shit human being. He's never done anything like truly wrong. His beliefs on if college football players should get paid or not is fucking terrible. Like, fuck you, Dabo Swinney. You're just a fucking... Fuck you. You're a terrible fucking human. Fuck you. Clemson's fucking terrible. They shouldn't be ranked 25 because they're fucking awful. That offense is ass. That offense is pitiful, putrid, horrid, terrible. Boston College is kind of good. 15.5 points. I'm going Boston College.
How do I follow that up?
You really can't, unfortunately.
But, so your hatred for Clemson, and more specifically Dabo Swinney, is the reason behind your pick. Well, at that, and Clemson has been awful.
Yeah, they have.
I'm also taking Boston College for two reasons that are not my hatred towards Clemson. Boston College was the first team Clemson faced a year ago when Trevor Lawrence was out with COVID protocols, and we saw the first little bit of DJ Ukulele, or Ukulele, as you've called him in chat messages.
And on this podcast on an occasion.
And Boston College took a big lead in that game before blowing it.
Before Travis Etienne won the game. Let's call it what it was.
Right, because Travis Etienne was a dude.
Yeah.
Also, Clemson hasn't covered a single game this year. Give me Boston College. Easy. 15.5. Clemson sucks. Final two games. They're both Big Ten, sort of. Michigan State at home against Western Kentucky. Michigan State only favored by 10.5 against the Hilltoppers. And there's the, send it up. Don't send her up.
The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers are also ass. The fact that they are a Division I team is a joke. Like,
I kind of forgot that they were.
Give me Michigan State by more than 10.5.
And yeah, MSU. Even after the dud they laid against Nebraska, give me the Spartans. I mean, fucking 5% of the people are taking Western Kentucky.
Kentucky
fans, if those people exist,
if Michigan State doesn't cover, like, this is a possibility of like take 2 weeks off and quit.
We got problems. Sound the alarm in East Lansing. Last college game of the week, and well, it's Northwestern, probably the worst team in the Big Ten, despite the 2-2 record. On the road, getting 10.5 against Nebraska, who just gave MSU a big fight. Who do you got?
This game's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
I've said it a lot. This game's going to be ass. Northwestern is awful. Like, I can't even call Northwestern ass, because they're worse. They are the worst team.
Worse than ass.
They are the worst team in the Big Ten, most likely. Like, the worst game of not just of the Big Ten season, the worst game of the college football year will be Northwestern Illinois. That game will probably end like 3-2.
That game has always been bad. It will be bad.
We'll talk about that later in the season, because that's not towards the end of the year.
Yeah, just those teams
are
bad.
That
game was bad. I meant those teams are bad.
Yeah, that game always has been bad, though. I'm going Nebraska because they might actually be kind of good. They're at least better than Northwestern.
Yeah,
get this game away from me, though.
Easy there. Am I going to watch it? Absolutely not.
This is a game. Also, got to add, it's a 7:30 slot on Big Ten Network. This is also a game that should be on ESPN 700 in fucking Belgium.
Man,
at like 2 in the morning.
Why are you giving Belgium so many crap games? Give them to fucking, I don't know.
Okay, fucking
somewhere else.
Uganda, there.
Oh.
I don't fucking...
Nebraska, in case I didn't say it. We move on to the NFL picks, and we're leading off Thursday night football. Your Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, sweet. That's the right graphic.
Paul Brown Stadium, is that where the hell you guys play?
Yes.
Well, that hosts this. Whatever this is. The 2-1 Bengals against the 0-3 Urban Meyer-led Jacksonville Jaguars. The Bengals favored by 7.5.
Real quick,
what do you got?
I have a 1-game lead in the NFL picks. I am 24-24. Jordan's 23-25.
Yes, forgot about that. Decent. I mean, about 50%. Solid clip in the NFL. After a couple good weeks, we started off shit, but we've had a couple good weeks.
This game should not be a Thursday night game.
Well, is Thursday Night Football really known for having good games?
Well, no, this game should never be a primetime game. This game's going to be But this game's gonna be ass. It's gonna be awful. It's gonna be horrible. The fact that I'm gonna end up watching this game shows how much I hate myself. Apparently.
I mean, I'll watch it.
I'm gonna say this on this podcast now. If you are a team, if you are an individual who does not have a vested interest in either Jacksonville or Cincinnati, don't fucking watch this game. Save yourself the pain. Watch some college football. There's gonna be some college football game on tomorrow night at this exact same.
It's better than this.
It's good. They're both gonna be bad.
Hold on. Before we move on, I need to see what college games we're looking at for Thursday night football.
Might see some action, or you'll see like the Marshall Thundering Herd.
I think so.
You might see the Marshall Thundering Herd. Yep, you'll get to see 2019 first overall pick Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals, and 2020 first round pick or number 1 overall pick Joe Burrow, and 2021 number 1 overall pick Trevor Lawrence against each other. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars are putrid. However, this is a game I would not be surprised if the Bengals lose, but I'm still picking the Cincinnati Bengals because the Jacksonville Jaguars have really not shown me anything even remotely interesting or good. Who you got, right, Jordan?
So really quickly, the only game tomorrow for college football, you might want to eat those words there.
Oh no,
because it is Virginia at Miami, your favorite conference ever. The ACC.
Never mind. I will not be watching that game because it's the ACC and that game is going to be fucking terrible.
That is the only Division 1A FBS game on Thursday.
You successfully found a football game that will be worse than the Cincinnati Bengals playing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
On Thursday, September 30th, because there's only 2 of them.
Congratulations.
Give me the Jags. They scored some points last week. Why the fuck not? Bengals aren't that great, so let's see what goes on.
Fair enough.
We move on. 3-0 Carolina Panthers. They're on the road. No Christian McCaffrey. They take on the Dallas Cowboys, who just mollywopped the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas favored by 4.5. 64% of the people picking the Dallas Cowboys. America's team. Who do you got?
Well, you said it. No Christian McCaffrey, so I'm taking Dallas.
Yeah, Sam Darnold has looked better out from the Adam Gase shadow of doom. But without McCaffrey, their best player, can't see him covering 4.5. Darnold might play well, but I think Dallas is just better. Give me the Cowboys. The Cleveland Browns, 2-1 after, kind of blowing it. Week 1 against the Chiefs, but 2 straight wins since. They're on the road heading to Minnesota, Skull Vikings or whatever. Close spread here. Minnesota getting 1.5 at home.
I'm going Cleveland. Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota's good.
No.
So.
No, the spread's closer than I think it should be. Only because they beat Seattle last week. Who the hell knows what's going on with Seattle? Who would have ever thought when this podcast started that we'd both be taking the Browns week after week?
Right.
Maybe Cleveland.
Believe land.
Yeah, believe land. Whatever. Oh boy. The 0-3 Detroit Football Lions are on the road heading to Soldier Field to take on whatever the fuck the Chicago Bears are.
1-2 because they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. Fucking
3.5 points. 3.5 points the Bears are favored to win by. 66% of the people picking the Lions. Who do you got?
Some people say I'm a man of the people. I would say they're fucking wrong.
Oh, no!
Because I'm not necessarily a man of the people, but I'm going with the people here. I'm picking the Detroit Lions. The Bears are bad. The Bears are bad.
A double swerve. As I've said, throughout the first 3 weeks of the season. I think the Lions are going to be a threat to cover every single week. For the most part, because they're going to get massive spreads. But the Bears stink. Lions also stink. But the Bears have, oddly enough, I feel like they have more questions than Detroit does. We know we're bad, but hey, we got our guys. Like they're here for the season.
Emphasis on guys.
Yeah, people who happen to play football and get paid for it somehow.
Yeah.
I will say the Lions defense looked a lot better without Jamie Collins this last weekend. He's booted off, released today. Probably going to go back to New England. The only place he's ever going to be successful. Give me the Lions. I think Dan Campbell gets his first win as Lions head coach this weekend. I just think the Bears are a mess. Honestly, more of a mess than we are. In a sense that the Bears thought they would be better. The Lions knew they were going to be bad. But the Bears, they thought they'd be better than they are. And they haven't been. Give me the Lions. Oh boy. The Houston Texans running into the buzzsaw that is the Buffalo Bills. I do believe this is the biggest spread we've seen all season. It was 17 yesterday. It's dropped a whole half a point to 16.5 that the Buffalo Bills are favored by. No Tyrod Taylor, I believe, still means Davis Mills is the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans. Oh, boy. Should I even ask?
Davis Mills is eventually going to get a win as a starting quarterback for the Houston Texans before Tyrod Taylor comes back. But not this week. I'm going Buffalo. Buffalo's going to win by a lot.
I figured that was your answer, but a lot of points. I know Buffalo just scored a lot of points and covered this spread in their last game, but against a better team, arguably, than the Houston Texans. But you're going to give me 16.5 in an NFL game. I got to take the points. I'd be stupid not to. Give me the points. Give me the Texans. Oh, man, the poor fucking Colts, dude. 0-3. I hate it for them. And they're on the road, and they're underdogs, only by a point and a half against the Miami Dolphins. Jacoby Brissett, I do believe, is still the starter out there. With Tua Tagovailoa still out. Who do you got?
The Colts have to turn it around at some point, so I'm taking them this week.
Yeah.
I
said earlier, Jacoby Brissett impressed me. He was better than I thought he was going to be. I can't do it. It's one game. I can't change my opinion on Jacoby Brissett as a player entirely just based on one decent enough game. Give me the Colts. Oh my. Kansas City Chiefs on the road heading to Lincoln Financial Field to take on the disastrous Eagles. Eagles 7.5, getting 7.5 points at home. But remember, the Kansas City Chiefs haven't covered since November of last year.
Well, 76% of the people are picking the Chiefs, and I could go through my whole man of the people spiel again. But I'm not because, well, Philadelphia's ass. So 76% of the people could have picked Philadelphia, and I would have laughed in their face because they're fucking stupid. Kansas City's going to win by a lot.
If Kansas City does not cover this week, they're never going to cover again.
No.
Like, this is a team that they should just blow out of the water. Can't believe I'm doing this. Picking the Chiefs. I'm going to live to regret it probably because this team is incapable of covering. But I'm going to say Kansas City. They got to turn this shit around. Oh, boy. 0-3. New York Football Giants. They travel to the Caesars Superdome to take on the Saints. Saints favored by 7.5. Who do you got?
This is the first home game the Saints have played since it became the Caesars this year.
I should check if they're actually in the Superdome.
I think, yes, I believe so.
I'm going to double check it just because I know they haven't been there yet.
Because of the hurricane.
Yes, they are.
Um,
yes, in the Super.
The New York Football Giants are terrible. Jameis Winston looks like he might actually be good at football now.
That eye surgery, man, it'll do wonders.
I'm going the New Orleans Saints.
So, I don't know if I'm gonna pick the Giants this season. They're putrid. They are lifeless, and they shouldn't be this bad. Like, they got some decent people on the team. Why are they this bad?
Oh, hey, you missed. Oh no, we haven't missed a game because it's coming up next.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that one. Giants stink. Give me the Saints. Moving on. The goddamn Jets.
The game that I thought you missed because the Jets are so fucking terrible, which I wouldn't blame you, but
The Giants might be the worst team in the NFL, but they're slightly behind the Jets in terms of futility at this moment. New York goddamn Jets, they're at home against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee, back-to-back good weeks against Seattle and Indianapolis, some tough opponents. 7.5 points, what the Jets are getting at home. Another one, I don't know if I can pick the Jets.
I'm not going to pick the Jets at all this year. Derrick Henry is... I could see Derrick Henry having 800 yards against the Jets. 800 might be a stretch, but probably like 250, 300. I could see it.
Can't argue with it. I really can't. That's an outrageous number, but I can't. The Jets are that bad.
Like,
the Titans minus whatever. I don't care. I'd pick the Titans if the spread was fucking 30.
Yeah.
The Washington football team. Still, I believe with Taylor Heineke.
I believe so. I believe Fitzpatrick is still down.
They are on the road in a game. Well, this could be shit. Atlanta Falcons are at home. The Mercedes-Benz, blah, blah, blah. Close spread. Football team minus 1.5.
This game is the shit bowl of the week game. This game is going to be terrible. The fact that
hopefully we don't get it.
God, I hope this is not on broadcast here in Michigan, because if it is, I might gouge my eyes out. I will end up watching the Lions and Bears instead. Which is a game that could cause me to want to also gouge my eyes out, but the Lions and Bears would at least be a little more pleasing on the eyes for a little bit than Washington and Atlanta. I am taking Washington, though.
I'm also going to take Washington. This game is gonna suck. I was trying to check what network it was on to see if it was even a possibility that we're gonna get it. I doubt we will.
If it's on Fox, we definitely won't. So score.
If it's on Fox, it's probably not gonna come our way. Give me WFT. I don't know. No rhyme or reason. Both these teams suck. While you're searching something,
it's on Fox. Score.
Yes.
Score.
No WFT versus ATL for us.
Score.
The Arizona Cardinals are on the road. One of these two teams takes their first L of 2021. Will it be the Cardinals or the Rams? Rams minus 5.5.
One of these teams has to lose. Well, I mean, not technically. There could be a tie.
That's not technically true.
This game could be entertaining. Could be. The Rams are really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Arizona Cardinals are kind of good. The Rams defense has a bunch of dudes. However, the Arizona defense
just okay.
Exists. I'm going the Rams.
Can't pick against the Rams again. I did it last week. It's going to be the death of me if I do it again. The only reason I did it was because they were facing off against Brady. Yeah, give me the Rams. The Seahawks, who just can't figure shit out. They're 1-2. They're on the road heading in to play the San Francisco 49ers, fresh off the loss against Green Bay. San Fran only minus 2.5 in this one. Who do you got?
Seattle. Seattle has to figure something out, and I think this would be a team they can do it against. San Fran has a few question marks still. They're still... Garoppolo is their starter, but they still don't necessarily seem committed to it. So
Really?
I think that could play into Seattle's favor. They win the game.
Well, you kind of took the words out of my mouth there. Seattle's got to figure shit out. They're better than their record, I think. If they lose this one, I don't know. Seattle might be one that I don't ever touch again. Give me the Seahawks. I can't. Russell Wilson's one of the best talents in the NFL still. Fucking one of these weeks, his team's going to help him out. The Baltimore Ravens, fresh off Justin Tucker's 66-yard fucking of the Detroit Lions. They're on the road facing off against the surprising 3-0 Denver Broncos. And that is evident in this spread. Broncos minus 1.5. Can you believe it?
Have you ever?
No, I don't think I've ever.
Yeah. I'm not picking Denver. I can't. That Baltimore team's just too fucking good. There's no way they come out and look like they did against the Lions.
No.
Denver is solid, but Baltimore is good.
Yeah, you're just not giving me. First of all, Denver's not even favored, or Baltimore's not even favored. I don't know how that's a thing. The Bronco defense.
It's hard to win on the road.
It is
In the NFL.
It's hard to be. It's. I don't know. This spread makes no sense to me. Give me Baltimore. They're gonna win this game, I think. If they don't, then fucking hell, might just be on the Denver Broncos bandwagon. Ravens, easy. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they got to figure some shit out, but they have a tough task ahead of them to do it. And it's the Green Bay Football Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers minus 6.5, rather. Who do you got?
Pittsburgh Steelers just lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm taking the Packers. Just off of that right there. Any team that...
I thought you were just going to leave it right there.
I was thinking about it and just be like, that should just tell you who I'm picking. I'm going to say this right now. Any team that loses to the Cincinnati Bengals this year, I might not pick them again.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's see. Did I pick Minnesota? No, I have not. And I'm not picking Cincinnati. Both teams that have lost to the Bengals, I have not picked since they lost to the Bengals. I'm taking Green Bay.
Well, it had to be switched up at some point. I'm going to take the Steelers. Take the points. They're not going to win the game. They got to figure some shit out. Figure it out, Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin's too good of a head coach to have this team be this bad. Oh, boy. Tom Brady, in his return to Foxborough, he needs 67 yards to become the NFL's all-time leading passer, and that's going to stand for a while because him and Drew Brees went back and forth for some time. Buccaneers on the road, minus 6.5.
Who is the quarterback for the New England Patriots?
Well, let's see. It's not Tom Brady. Not Cam Newton. Oh, it's that Mac Jones guy.
Yeah. I am not picking Mac Jones or the New England Patriots. Give me the Buccaneers.
Yeah, give me the Bucs. Tampa's by far the better team. It's probably one of the quickest picks I've made all fucking year. Last game of the week, Monday Night Football. The 3-0, almost called them Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders on the road to take on the LA Chargers, fresh off a big win. Chargers minus 3.5. Sadly, no Monday Night Manning for this one.
This game would be the biggest letdown in the world if the Chargers follow up beating the Chiefs by losing to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, they're 3-0 though.
No. They got a fluke win against Baltimore, Pittsburgh's ass, and then I have no idea who. I don't even remember who they beat this week. Oh, they beat Miami. I'm going the Chargers.
Can't do it with the Raiders. Derek Carr's been in the league for a while. I don't magically think he's figured it out. Chargers fresh off the win against KC. Give me LA. That's easy. And those are the goddamn picks.
It's time to move on to champ and chump of the week as we wrap up the show. I will start with my champ of the week. My champ of the week, I talked about them earlier in the news, the United States Ryder Cup team. They blew Team Europe out, and this team is... I know Jon Rahm of Europe of Spain, so he was on Team Europe, is the number one golfer in the world right now. But this U.S. team had so many top 10 golf. This U.S. team was stacked. All of the best golfers in the world, minus Jon Rahm, were on this U.S. team. They are going to be great for a while. They're going to win a handful. They're going to win more than 3 Ryder Cups in 14 years. And they also did it in record fashion. So my champ of the week is the United States Ryder Cup team.
Fair enough. My champ of the week is Georgia Southern defensive lineman Gavin Adcock, who, prior to his team's game this last weekend, was on top of a bus when he was thrown a beer, Stone Cold Steve Austin style, and chugged the bitch on top of a bus. Need I say more?
No, you do not. That sounds glorious.
It was. It's, if you haven't seen the video, go and look that up. Dude's a legend. That's phenomenal.
Okay. I've alliterated to this one to Jordan, at least. I have not said anything about it in this episode, or in this show. My chump of the week is Fox Sports analyst and writer RJ Young.
Who I had no idea existed until last night.
RJ Young is a fucking idiot.
Austin's telling me about this dude, and he says he's the host of the #1 show on Fox Sports. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, that's probably got to be Undisputed, right? No, it's called the #1 ranked show.
Yeah. Every week, RJ Young, after Saturday, every Sunday and Monday, RJ Young goes on Twitter and let's call it what it is. He's college football's version of like Colin Cowherd, where I feel like he just tries to make a living saying stupid shit. He believes Alabama is the #1 team in the country right now because they have a quality win. However, here's where things get interesting. RJ Young does not believe in quality losses.
No.
So how can you have a quality win, but there is no such thing as a quality? Like Florida losing to the #1 team, quality loss. Ohio State losing to Oregon, who is currently the #4 team, quality loss. Apparently, Georgia's win over Clemson was not a quality win. It doesn't count as a quality win because they didn't score an offensive touchdown. Makes no fucking sense. Everything he says just is filled with idiotic rhetoric. I am 100% sure this guy would fit in perfectly at ESPN because he jacks off to fucking Alabama. Like, that's it.
I believe the tweet that I saw from RJ Young said, "Don't ask me if your team played well. Ask me if they won." Fitting into the quality win, quality loss thing.
Yeah, he does. Like,
How are you so opposite on those two things, and people take you seriously and you actually have a show? How? Makes no goddamn sense. Anything else?
no, like I could go on, but I can't. I could, but I can't, just because I choose not to, because it's so everything he says, and Fox Sports College Football retweets everything he posts, and it's just so like a Georgia fan asked him how he had Oregon ranked ahead of Georgia, and he said, "Well, Oregon beat Ohio State by a touchdown, but Georgia beat Clemson by a touchdown." Oh, but they didn't score an offensive touchdown though, so it's not a good win. Point difference is the same. Oregon won by 7. Georgia won by 7. Same fucking point difference.
Does this guy know that, offense and defense are very important things, and one's not necessarily ranked above the other in terms of importance?
Probably not.
Goodness gracious.
Take it away. Give us your chump.
Chump of the week. In reference to Gavin Adcock chugging a beer on the roof of a bus,
Oh no.
my chump of the week is Georgia State Athletic Director Jared Benko, who spoke with local reporters about the firing of head coach Chad Lunsfeld after Georgia Southern's loss, and informed the world that Gavin Adcock had been suspended for chugging a beer on top of a bus. Let the man live!
Is he over 21? Is he of legal drinking age?
Yes.
Okay, what is this guy's name? What was his name?
The athletic director?
Yes.
Jared Benko.
Jared Benko.
B-E-N-K-O.
Jared Benko, you, sir, are the biggest chump and... Wrong button. You, sir, are the biggest chump and...
Loser.
that this show has ever covered in this segment.
Oh, wow, that's a bold statement.
Other than maybe the ACC.
And that's it. Just let the man live, man.
Like, come on!
Beer. It's a single beer.
He's of legal drinking age. If he was like 19, okay, I get it. But come on. Let him have a little fun. No one got hurt. Like, come on.
I don't know. I got nothing else. Let the man live.
Time for one for the road, because oh my god, that's bad. And then we could get out of here. My one for the road is, and I can't believe I'm saying this, on Saturday at the stupidest time slot of all times for a college football game, because it has to be on NBC. Because NBC has the broadcasting rights to Notre Dame, Cincinnati and Notre Dame at 2:30 at South Bend, Indiana at Touchdown Jesus. That's my one for the road. Could be the best college football game of this week. Could very well be the best football game of this week in college or the NFL. You know what my one for the road is not, though? Miami and Virginia.
No.
That game's
No,
gonna be
I
awful.
will watch a bad Thursday night football game with the Jaguars and Bengals before I watch Miami and Virginia
Yeah.
attempt to play football. Yeah, fuck that.
My one for the
My one
road,
for-
though, is Cincinnati and Notre Dame.
My one
Take
for
us
the
home.
road is going to be NASCAR Cup Series racing this weekend, this Sunday at Talladega Superspeedway. If you're a casual fan of motorsports at all, you might want to tune into this one. Chaos always ensues, and it's a playoff race, so people are going to be doing dumb shit. It's going to be entertaining as hell. See what goes on. See if we get some fluke winner because people are dumb. NASCAR at Talladega. Always a good show.
And that wraps up our show, everybody. Thank you for making us part of your day. A little bit of housekeeping. Next Wednesday, I believe it will be, we'll have the NHL preview. We'll have our good friend Jeff on for the show. Bring your popcorn. It's always a good time, especially when we get Jeff here.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we can keep it under 5 hours. That's all I got. Other than that,
we're gonna have to speed run them damn football scores, man. That's,
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
Other than that, thank you for making us part of your night, part of your Wednesday night. Again, this is we've gone over just a month in this season. These past 5 weeks have flew by.
And you know what? We haven't missed our scheduled date of Wednesday in a month.
I know. Minor miracle. I'm sure that'll probably get kind of goofed up once we get into November with the holidays and everything. But
possibly. Depending on what date things fall.
As I said though, thank you for making us part of your day. It's been a good 5 weeks so far. We'll have this on audio sources if that's where you listen to this. Well, you're already listening to it then.
In case you want to listen again.
If you watch this on YouTube, or if we're joining us live, this will be on audio sources and YouTube here in the next couple days. Thank you for making us part of your night. With that being said, unless Jordan has anything else to say.
It's been a while since I said it, but just a casual reminder, skim milk is water that's lying about being milk.
Fuck. Peace out. Stay classy, internet. See ya.